Well, Chelsea take on Manchester City in the FA Cup final with kickoff half an hour away at Wembley Stadium. Well, Chelsea heading into this game in pretty much the worst possible form. 6 losses in a row before we headed to Anfield, and somehow managing to get a 1-1 draw at Anfield means that Chelsea slightly better in terms of the form. But my goodness me, are we the underdogs or what? In a game where Manchester City are looking to get their domestic double up in place. They're still 2 points behind Arsenal in the Premier League race with 2 games to go. City looking for a domestic treble, while Chelsea looking to salvage their season with a bit of silverware right towards the end, and chance with the FA Cup final where form goes out the window, and it's all about what the teams do with the pitch, on the pitch, when the white lines are drawn and enemy territory is clearly marked. Well, Chelsea, in terms of the form, terrible. In terms of our past results against Manchester City, terrible. Since we've beaten City in Porto in the Champions League final in 2021, we have not beaten the citizens, as Pep Guardiola has well and truly exercised the ghost of Porto all those years ago. But City heading into this game on the back of some very good results, 3-0 against Crystal Palace, 3-0 against Brentford, but that draw against Everton means that City are very much in second place for the hands of the Premier League title. Chelsea have won this competition 8 times, City 7. Well, City's triumphs came in 2023 after Ilkay Gundogan scored 12 seconds on the clock against Manchester United's Erik ten Hag side. And of course, Chelsea's last triumph in the FA Cup came in 2018 when Antonio Conte was our manager and Chelsea won 1-0 against Manchester United courtesy of an Eden Hazard pen. So history and everything else does not favor the Blues, but how we're going to try and manage to beat a very dominant City side remains to be seen. Well, in terms of team news, we'll go with City first. The main thing is Ryan Cherki is on the bench, and that is a big call from Pep Guardiola, rewarding Omar Marmoush with a start in that number 10 position after he scored in back-to-back games in the Premier League. Haaland keeps his place as a centre-forward, Doku and Semenyo on the wings, with Bernardo Silva and Rodri as the 2 pivot players. The back 4 of Nico O'Reilly, Mateus Nunes, Mark Guehi and Kusanov will complete the back 4, and the big call is James Trafford starts in goal with Gianluigi Donnarumma on the bench. So big calls made by Pep Guardiola, especially with the likes of Guardiola not preferred, and of course Ryan Cherki. Phil Foden's on the bench with a brace of assists against Crystal Palace. His form is looking good here. City do have options on the bench. And as for Chelsea, we're going with a back 3 here again because of the unavailability rather of our wingers and the unreliability of them as well. Still no signs of Estevao. He's going to have a long-term injury. Neto and Garnacho are on the bench with Liam Delap. Chelsea going with a back 3 with Rob Sanchez in goal. Levi Colwill keeps his place as the centre-back. Fofana on the right. Jarell Hato on the left. Kukurea and Malo Gusto as our 2 wing-backs. Caicedo keeps his place in midfield. No surprise about that. But the big call is Reece James starts in the middle here. There's the captain Zamban getting his first start in a long time. The 2 number 10s will be Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer with Joao Pedro leading the line with 15 Premier League goals, looking for that big goal here today to get us our 9th FA Cup crown. Well, everything at Wembley points towards a City victory, but stranger things have happened. When City lost the FA Cup final to Erik ten Hag's men, it came out of the blue and sent us to the Conference League. Chelsea have an opportunity with a win here to go into the Europa League, because in terms of the league form, it looks like Chelsea are going to finish maybe in the 9th, 10th or even 11th spot, because that has been absolutely shambolic, and it can all be masked with an FA Cup win here today. Well, Callum McFarlane has gotten a draw at Anfield, a draw at Etihad Stadium. So in terms of the big games, he certainly does know how to set us up. But we are under serious trouble and pressure if we do not start the game well. And of course, if City score the first, it might be a long afternoon. Well, do get involved in the live chat, guys. I thank you all for your continued support of the channel. It's been a long season. We've got 2 more weeks to go. The Premier League title will be decided in the next 2 weeks. The Champions League final, of course, on the 30th of May between Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. And we will be covering Aston Villa versus Freiburg in the Europa League final as well. So it's going to be back to back watch-alongs today. We're starting off here today. Tomorrow, Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. Monday night, we will see Arsenal versus Burnley. And Tuesday night, Chelsea versus Spurs. And a chance for Chelsea to have the perfect week here. Try and get our hands on some sort of silverware and try and relegate Spurs to the Championship. So a lot to play for in the last couple of weeks for Chelsea, despite being absolutely shambolic since the turn of the year. So much has happened. And there's, of course, the result and the reports that Xabi Alonso might be confirmed as Chelsea manager on Monday. Now, still a lot of speculation, waiting for the official confirmation, knowing that the world of football does throw a lot of surprises at us. But Xabi Alonso coming to Chelsea would be a massive, massive coup for Chelsea, considering where we find ourselves in and how the hierarchy has really put us in a position where Chelsea could really struggle. But Xabi Alonso coming in, possibly watching this game to see how Chelsea do end up combating Manchester City in this game. It's going to be so many different pitfalls, man. I can almost envisage. The biggest thing is what I can imagine with Pep Guardiola dropping Ryan Cherki is the big Wembley pitch, right? Because come on, in terms of form, Ryan Cherki has to be starting the game because he's the man who can pick the lock. With Chelsea playing with a back three, without the ball, possibly back five. You need someone of Cherki's ilk and that class and that cleverness to try and pick the Chelsea lock. So very interesting to see Omar Marmoush start there because he's more of a runner and he will look to stretch the pitch with, of course, Erling Haaland leading the line. Well, Doku and Semenyo scare me a lot, but Chelsea do have a bit of protection out in the wings. But it's absolutely critical that Chelsea do not concede the first goal. Keep it at 0-0 for as long as possible. Frustrate City and try and hit them on the counter-attack. We don't have too much pace going forward because Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer are playing as the two number 10s and we have no natural wingers on the pitch. Joao Pedro will have to have one of his games of his lives here as the centre forward. He has been Chelsea's best player this season by far, and we need Joao for a big, big performance here today. Well, barring that Everton draw, City have been in a brilliant run of form, really. They had the chance to pretty much have one hand on the trophy, and that Everton result came out of the blue and gave Mikel Arteta's side the initiative and the impetus to go out there and break their 22-year drought for the Premier League title here. City still challenging on all fronts here domestically. They've got the Carabao Cup in the bag, and if you've seen that performance in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal, they absolutely dominated it, especially in the second half where Arsenal did not get a kick as Nico O'Reilly scored a brace to give Manchester City their Carabao Cup win. Now, how do Chelsea combat this one? That box midfield is certainly going to be key with Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer as the two number 10s. They will have to play in the half spaces, of course. Enzo Fernandez did score in the semi-finals against Leeds in that only goal that we needed to beat Leeds on that occasion. It wasn't a performance to really take after, but getting to the final was the all-important task, which Chelsea did manage to do. City, on the other hand, they had to come from behind against the Southampton side, who was certainly motivated and needed a special Nico Gonzalez strike to give them a spot in the final here. We're about 20 minutes away from kickoff. The stage is set at Wembley Stadium, and it could throw out a real surprise here. With the last couple of occasions where Chelsea did play Manchester City in the FA Cup, both resulted in losses for Chelsea. In the semi-finals where Pochettino was our manager, we ended up losing 1-0, and when Graham Potter was the manager, we lost 4-0 to Manchester City. So City have everything in their favour. They've got the history, they've got the form, they've got the players to really put it on Chelsea here today. In terms of predictions, I'll be the last one to predict a result here today. I want a Chelsea win some way, somehow, but it's going to take something very, very special. Well, we need City to have an off day and Chelsea to have one of their best days at Wembley. It's been heartbreak after heartbreak. We have lost so many finals, man. The one to Liverpool, where Thomas Tuchel was the manager. We lost the FA Cup and Carabao Cup final, both on penalties. And of course, that finals loss to Leicester City that came out of the blue when Chelsea did win the final in the Champions League. But that loss to Leicester will certainly haunt us here. There's an opportunity, though, for the Blues to really exercise those demons here tonight. 20 minutes to the start of kickoff, and things are going to get very, very interesting at Wembley Stadium. Well, I did see Josko Guardiola start against Crystal Palace and he got about 65 minutes under his belt. He's not played since January, so he had that opportunity and I thought that Pep Guardiola might start him, but he goes with the tried and tested. He goes with Nico O'Reilly as left back, Mark Gahey on the left-hand side, Kusunov as the right-sided defender with Mateus Nunes on the right-hand side. Of course, Semenyo and Doku are going to cause Chelsea so many problems. It's the centre, though, with Rodri, Bernardo Silva and Omar Marmoush, where Chelsea need to try and grab a hold of the game here. We know all about Rodri and Bernardo Silva. They will keep the ball for days and they'll make Chelsea chase shadows. Absolutely critical that Chelsea make it as difficult as possible to the Manchester City midfield. We have to make sure that Haaland stays on the periphery of things. Do not give him a chance in front of goal because Haaland is absolutely deadly in that scenario. 26 goals in the Premier League for Erling Haaland, and this a chance to seal an FA Cup victory here. From Chelsea's point of view, again, the team sheet doesn't really come as too much surprise, but we do have Garnacho and Neto on the bench, which is certainly going to be, especially at that big Wembley pitch, to stretch it as much as possible in the second half if we need to be, but that will require a formation change as well. Jarell Hato as the left-sided centre-back looks good. Colwill as the centre-back, and of course Wesley Fofana on the right does give me a bit of confidence that Chelsea may be able to contain Manchester City in the early stages, but it's absolutely critical that concentration levels be absolutely top. We cannot afford City to even have a sniff. The last time we played them at the Bridge, they spanked us 3-0 and it was no surprise considering we were in the worst run of form at that time and City took full advantage. Nico O'Reilly scored again on that occasion. He is a man for the big occasion by the looks of it. What an astronomical leap he has made this season, man. He's first choice left back for the World Cup for sure for England. The way that he plays, his ability to drop into midfield and of course score clutch goals makes him a very, very crucial player for Manchester City. For England, the way that he plays. Well, Cole Palmer certainly has a really good record in finals. The last time we did play a final, that was the Club World Cup final against Paris Saint-Germain, where Cole Palmer did score 2 and had the assist for the Joao Pedro goal. He had an assist in the Conference League final as well. So there's certainly that big game pedigree that Cole Palmer has. And after having a really, really poor season this season, there's an opportunity for Cole to step up against his former side and make a real impact here. Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer both with 9 Premier League goals this season. It's been pretty good in terms of their individual performances, in terms of the goal scoring, but collectively Chelsea have been well below par. But it feels like this season is going to be possibly going to see the worst of the season end here with a lot of positivity coming towards next season. Chelsea absolutely have to get their recruitment right for next season. We cannot afford to have any more flops in the transfer window, that's for sure. And with reports confirming, not confirming, but almost confirming that Xabi Alonso might be announced on Monday, Chelsea will have to show the new boss that there is a base, there is something to build about and go after it next season, that's for sure. 15 minutes to kick off. My heart is pounding out of my chest despite me having absolutely no hope for the final, but there still is a little bit of belief, that's for sure. Well, do drop in your predictions. What do you think the final score will be? I'm not sure. Too many will be predicting a Chelsea win, which means that Chelsea might end up upsetting the apple cart and providing a shock result here today. Chelsea with a win here today will get the FA Cup after a nearly 8-year wait, and of course a spot in the Europa League next season, with Chelsea having a disastrous domestic campaign since the turn of the year. So a lot of interesting subplots here. This game is not as important for Manchester City, but we know how Pep Guardiola likes those domestic trophies. He's collected them in hordes, and he's got 19 trophies as City manager, 1 away from 20. So Pep Guardiola will certainly be up for it. But again, very, very interesting that Ryan Cherki does not start here today. And the only reason I can find is that big Wembley pitch where Cherki might have a bit of difficulty in terms of covering pitch. From Chelsea's point of view, there's a lot of runners. Cucurella and Malo Gusto will have to be at their best. Every time they go forward, we need to see a bit of quality. We saw it at Anfield, right, where Caicedo kept on looking for Cucurella on the left-hand side and did find him on a couple of occasions. But this time, Marc Cucurella has to make sure that he makes the right decision. Again, Cucurella and Gusto will have to cover a lot of pitch in that massive Wembley pitch, that's for sure. So it's going to be interesting as to how they possibly conserve their energy and also be absolutely on it when they do have the ball. So that wing back area for Chelsea is going to be very, very critical, which will allow us to play a bit of football in the central areas where Chelsea did look very good in the opening 45 minutes at the Emirates at Anfield, but could not sustain that towards the second half. Chelsea have to have a perfect 90 minutes against a Manchester City side looking for their 8th FA Cup crown. Well, under 15 minutes to go. The stage is set here. Wembley Stadium will be buzzing. Can Chelsea somehow manage to upset Manchester City? Again, the big call with Donnarumma not getting a start here means that James Trafford will be in goal. He's been in goal for the domestic Trups, which means that the trust is being placed. And can he have a good campaign? We will wait and see. Well, I'm not going to go too much into the individuals that are going to make the impact for Chelsea because it's going to have to be a collective effort. We know that Joao Pedro will have to play one of his best games this season because he's going to be up against two very aggressive defenders in Mark Guehi and Abdulkader Kusunov. They've been that pair since the turn of the year to keep that solidity for Manchester City. And not seeing Josko Guardiola on the pitch is actually good from a Chelsea point of view because that man is certainly a game changer. But City have got options on the bench galore. Foden and Shirky are there. Savinho can come off the bench, fresh off scoring in that game against Crystal Palace. But of course, Marmoush and Haaland, that is certainly an interesting dynamic from Pep Guardiola's point of view. How will Chelsea try and combat this? It'll be very, very interesting to see. That midfield four of Chelsea, Caicedo, James, Palmer and Enzo Fernandez will have to be absolutely on the money here. They'll have to play a very disciplined role. They cannot just be bombing forward, leaving the spaces behind and hoping that the midfield will kind of paper over the cracks there. Yes, Chelsea do have a back three, which means that we have that extra defender to make sure that City don't really run right through the center areas. But Chelsea will have to be disciplined. They'll have to pick their moments. They cannot just play carefree football. Yes, that back three will be a back five when Chelsea don't have the ball with Cucurella and Gusto tucking in to make the five. Of course, Levi Colwill is a massive, massive boost for us. But Chelsea, I mean, look, Levi Colwill picked up an ACL injury in pre-season, right? And he's back. He's played 90 minutes at Anfield. He played about 30 minutes against Nottingham Forest at home, which we lost, and then played 90 minutes at Anfield, and he's going to possibly play 90 minutes again. This is possibly the last time that we are going to see Levi Colwill. Maybe we might see him midweek again, but we have to make sure that Levi Colwill isn't overexerted in terms of minutes here because he's still recovering from a long-term injury. You cannot take those ACL injuries lightly, and it's critical that Chelsea manages minutes here going forward. Well, the stage is set for the FA Cup final. 10 minutes before kickoff. Oh, it's going to be so hectic, man. I mean, how do we beat City here today? It's possible. It's very much possible. I remember it in 2024 where City had the opportunity to blow Ten Hag's team out the waters. It really did turn up with Menu and Garnacho scoring for Manchester United. Chelsea will need something similar here. Something similar indeed, and we can end up with some sort of silverware despite having a disastrous season. That is what Chelsea are all about. Even when we don't play at our best, even though we have shit seasons, to get our hands on silverware come the end of the season is the Chelsea way. Well, Thomas Tuchel is there. He is very much there. You know that we see him at the bridge, and he will be at the Wembley Stadium watching along. He's got Levi Colwill in the provisional 55-man squad for the World Cup. Reece James, of course, one of Thomas Tuchel's favorite players, starting here today. Caicedo will need to have a massive, massive game again. He was outstanding against Liverpool at Anfield, and we needed a big, big game from him here. Callum McFarlane can take a bit of hope that Chelsea did manage to get a point at the Etihad Stadium against Pep Guardiola's men. We needed a late goal from Enzo Fernandez. But this time, the stakes are different and everything else feels a lot more weighted here, that's for sure. Chelsea had a decent run towards the FA Cup. Not really tough teams we had to face. A couple of championship side leads in the semi-final, which means that Chelsea, if they are going to win the FA Cup final, we have to go through the final boss, that is Pep Guardiola. Kickoff 8 minutes away at Wembley Stadium. Just going to have a quick look at both benches here today. Shirky, Foden and Savinho are the only attackers that Pep Guardiola has on the bench. Only attackers. Shirky is quite the problem solver instead. He's got 12 Premier League assists, and we saw him against Crystal Palace with his very first action, really, setting up Savinho for the goal. They got Tijani Reinders and Kovacic in midfield. Chelsea, on the other hand, we see Dario Sugo and Andre Santos as our midfielders, Tosin and Achimpong as a centre-back cover. And of course, Delap, Garnacho and Pedro Neto as our front three on the bench here. So don't want to see Delap on the pitch here. It's got to be Joao Pedro for the 90 minutes. He's going to have to play out of his skin, out of his mind, and he'll have to pretty much occupy the two centre-halves in Mark Guehi and Abdulkadir Kusanov. So it's going to be absolutely critical as to how Chelsea do make sure. Now, what's going to be very, very important is how much we see of Joao Pedro inside the box. Now, we know Joao Pedro likes to drop deep and get involved in the build-up, but Chelsea have to make sure that we feed Joao in the box. He is lethal. He knows where the back of the net is, and we have to give him as many chances as possible, not just play as a foil. We might just see where Joao Pedro drops deep and allows Enzo Fernandez to make that box crashing run into the box. Well, Enzo Fernandez has scored at the Parc des Princes, Etihad Stadium and Anfield this season. So if there's ever a time for another big goal from Enzo, this would be it. Of course, Pep Guardiola did see that FA Cup crown being snatched from him against Crystal Palace last season. Chelsea will have to provide the upset that is hoping that we're going to see 5 minutes from now. The FA Cup final does throw out some surprise results, throws up some absolute classics from Chelsea's point of view. Just win today. Well, the Wembley Stadium will be packed and buzzing as Prince William is out there and he will greet the Chelsea skipper. Well, Prince William will be absolutely out of his damn mind in terms of his home club, Aston Villa, performing at very high levels. Another season in the Champions League for Unai Emery's men next season, which means that Prince William will be buzzing about that. And of course, they have a Europa League final as well to contend against, so it could be more good news for the British royalty. Well, Rob Sanchez has got a Petr Cech-like helmet on him after suffering that nasty head injury against Nottingham Forest. We saw Philip Jorgensen start at Anfield, which means that he's back on the bench, and now absolutely critical that Rob Sanchez has a perfect game in goal. James Trafford, Mateus Nunes, Abdulkader Kusuna. What a starting 11 this is from Pep Guardiola, man. City side littered with quality all over the pitch. It's going to be a big game for the Egyptian Marmoush as well. And of course, the main man, Erling Haaland. Well, all the pre-match pleasantries out of its way. We're 4 minutes away from kickoff at the Wembley Stadium. Chelsea need to be perfect. City looking for a domestic double before they lay their final surge at the Premier League crown with 2 games to go. The end of the season starts right here, 2 weeks before the campaign comes to an end with all domestic and European games out of the way. It starts off with the FA Cup final here. Chelsea taking on Manchester City. Weeks before the Well, I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous. I'm sure the players will be too. Nico O'Reilly again, him on that left-hand side. We need to see Malo Gusto counter him as much as possible. That left-hand side of Doku and O'Reilly will give us a lot of problems. So Wesley Fofana and Malo Gusto will have to be at their defensive best. That's for sure. Reece James's press resistance will be on display. We need his passing range on full display here today, alongside Moises Caicedo in midfield. And Reece James at the Etihad Stadium was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? He did put on that man-of-the-match performance against Rodri, and again at home against Arsenal, put on a man-of-the-match performance at Stamford Bridge against the potential league winners. Reece James in midfield does bring me a bit of confidence here, but almost feels like Reece's long-term future will be at right side at centre-half if Xabi Alonso decides to play with the back 3 here. We forget about Xabi Alonso for this while. That is for a matter later on, as the pre-match proceedings all coming to an end, as Chelsea's lineup here confirmed. Well, Sanchez starts in goal. The back 5 of Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Levi Colville and Jarell Hato, and Marc Cucurella as the left wing back. James and Caicedo as the 2 pivot players. Palmer and Enzo as our 2 number 10s, with Joao Pedro leading the line. Joao Pedro has been Chelsea's best player this season as we look at Chelsea's bench with Adebayo, Neto, Delap, Esugo, Santos, Chalobah, Achimpong and Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester City have got Trafford in goal, Mateus Nunes and O'Reilly as the fullbacks, Kusanov and Gehi as the 2 centre-halves, Rodri and Bernardo Silva as the pivot players, the front 3 of Semenyo, Marmoush and Doku supplying all the ammunition for Erling Haaland, who's got 26 Premier League goals. Foden, Savinho, Shirky, Kovacic, Aki, Stones, Reinders and Ruben Diaz on the bench for Manchester City. The stage is set and we're a minute away from the kickoff of the FA Cup final. Come on, Chelsea! Well, I've pretty much checked out for the last couple of months in terms of Chelsea's league performances, but now it's back to supporting the Blues, feeling everything that the boys are going to be feeling on the pitch there today. I am absolutely pumped, and I'm sure the Chelsea boys are pumped up as well. We know what we have in front of us. We've got the Manchester City juggernaut who do not lose too many finals, but who had a couple of rocky finals in the last couple of years, and where Chelsea absolutely need to take advantage of that situation here. Enzo Fernandez, what do you have in store for us? Is there another big goal under your belt this season? You scored at the Etihad, you scored at the Parc des Princes, you scored at the Wembley Stadium, you scored at Anfield. We need you to possibly be on the score sheet again this season in the final. Chelsea needing to win, and a win here will give us silverware and a spot in the Europa League. Despite where Chelsea finish in the league is immaterial, but if Chelsea leave empty-handed tonight, it means that Chelsea possibly will have no European football for next season. Well, the big City news was Pep Guardiola dropping Ryan Shirky to the bench. And we talked about in the pre-match what was the reasoning behind it. It's not the creativity or the player that he is, but it's that massive Wembley pitch that Ryan Shirky might struggle in, which means that Omar Marmoush brings in legs, running power, and of course finishing in front of goal. Pep Guardiola slightly nervous. You can see his knee bouncing as he's got Pep Linders next to him. Chelsea's bench has got absolutely no experience on it, and it's possibly a way for Chelsea to upset the apple cart here. Well, big game feels. Chelsea versus Manchester City in the FA Cup final. We haven't seen that in ages. But Chelsea, having beaten Manchester City in Porto in 2021 in the Champions League final, we have not beaten City once since then. It's been 5 hard years against Pep Guardiola's men. And if there's ever a time to break that streak, this would be it. Chelsea still in their huddle. Reece James will be telling the boys, we have to, simply must win here today. Chelsea fans in attendance, they'll be raising the roof, raising the noise, and the volume will be up. 90 minutes of stressful action coming to you live. I'd like to thank everybody joining in the stream. Do get involved in the chat as 90 minutes at the Wembley Stadium coming to you live. And we're off and running for the start of the kickoff. Chelsea kick things off from right to left. Yep, Rob Sanchez has got the rugby helmet on him to protect his head after that concussion he suffered. Well, not concussion, but that head injury against Nottingham Forest. It was Philip Jorgensen in goal at Anfield. Chelsea did concede a Ryan Gravenberch screamer in the 5th minute, but from there Chelsea played some very good football, and we will have to play some very good football again here today. Semenyo against Marc Cucurella will be an interesting battle, and on the other side, Malo Gusto versus Jeremy Doku can certainly have some flashpoints. Well, Crystal Palace put barely any sort of resistance on Manchester City. Oliver Glasner making sure that Ismail Assar and Adam Wharton were on the bench. It meant that City had it all their way in terms of possession, territory, and of course the 3 goals to wrap up the game. 2 points here, Manchester City behind Arsenal. They've got Bournemouth away and Aston Villa at home to wrap up their Premier League campaign, while Arsenal have Burnley at home and Crystal Palace away from home to end their campaign here. Here's Bernardo Silva. Seems that he might be the deepest midfielder for Manchester City. Good challenge there by Wesley Fofana, who steps up, finds Reece James on the right-hand side. Chelsea have to be aggressive. We're not just going to be here to sit back and soak up the pressure. We'll have to play some football ourselves. Well, Levi Colwill as the centre-back certainly allows us to do some of that, as Wesley Fofana looks up to find Joao Pedro. And Chelsea have to be very measured in their passing. Have to make sure that it's pinpoint, it's precise. Well, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in that midfield pivot, metronomic in their approach. Here's Nico O'Reilly, another danger man from Manchester City. I mean, everywhere you look in the City squad, it's littered with quality. Here's Gehi between the lines to Nico O'Reilly. Looks like Chelsea are going to almost implement a man-to-man approach here. Enzo Fernandez playing as that left-sided number 10 with Cole on the right. Here's Rodri now. Finding O'Reilly. Looks up, and that's a decent ball. Rob Sanchez will have to play sweeper-keeper, but it comes comfortably into his hands. Well, we have to suffer, that's for sure. There will be some suffering on the pitch. There's going to be times and moments where Chelsea do not touch the ball, but it's absolutely critical that Chelsea do not lose their patience or their shape. Might be a foul there by Caicedo. It isn't. Enzo Fernandez finds Marc Cucurella. Well, Jarell Hato, he'll feel that he was slightly unfortunate in missing out in the last couple of games, considering towards the back end of Liam Rossinia's tenure, he was Chelsea's best player really in defence. Not just in defence, but overall, he did really show his qualities after having very little game time under Enzo Maresca. With Levi Colwill back in the starting 11, Chelsea's ability to play out the back will improve tenfold. Really struggled under Liam Rosenior, where Chelsea's ability to play out the back completely vanished. But now with Levi and of course Jarell Harto as the left-sided centre-half, might be a bit more in terms of Chelsea able to keep the ball better in our own third. Well, City will play a high line. We know all about how they like to dominate the ball and territory, and Chelsea don't have really the pace on the counter-attack. Do have Garnacho and Neto on the bench, but only if it's absolutely necessary do you want to see them on the pitch. The City fullbacks will know that they can actually push up without having that trouble, but Cucurella is a willing runner and Malo Gusto certainly does have some ball carrying abilities, but their final third actions will be very crucial because they will be the spare man on the flanks when Chelsea do attack. Into the 5th minute, and it's been all Manchester City in terms of possession so far. No surprises there. As long as we give Rob Sanchez a comfortable enough game, it could be hectic. Hey, what's up, Gautam? Welcome to the stream, my brother. Super Callum McFarlane, what's he got for you? I'm not sure, but he's got a draw at Anfield and a draw at the Etihad Stadium. If he can lean on to something of that ilk, he might have some sort of joyous. Cucurella is bursting forward on the left-hand side here. He's got no support. Oh, what a bit of play that is from Matheus Nunes. Covers so much ground quickly. Well, Garnacho, not just on the bench, hopefully. He should not be seeing the pitch. Only if things get hectic, only if things get a bit stretched in the second half do we all want to see Garnacho or Neto. Definitely no Liam Delap on the pitch here today, that's for sure. Well, 5 minutes on the clock. Game has settled down. Chelsea relying on a few moments here. But it looks like Reece James is going to be playing as a number 8 and Moises Caicedo will be the deepest midfielder for Chelsea. Here's Doku. Again, Doku against Malo Gusto. That'll be a very critical battle. Rodri waiting for options. Chelsea shutting down the passing angles. Decent work out of possession here from the Blues. Here's Kusanov. His recovery pace on this massive Wembley pitch will be an absolute cheat code really for Pep Guardiola's men. Again, Sanchez not taking any risk. Decides to go long. Ref, is that a foul on Joao Pedro? Well, he said that Joao Pedro was looking for it, and now City on the attack. Here's Bernardo Silva finding Antoine Semenyo on the right-hand side. Open the scoring against Crystal Palace. Might do it again here. Semenyo with the strike. It's well blocked. There's a chance here, and it goes straight into the hands of Rob Sanchez. Omar Marmoush just looking to clip that from a tight angle. You hate this Wembley pitch. It's so slow. It is. It's not the ideal pitch. It's big, it's wide, and it's not the quickest pitch as well. Have to battle a lot of the conditions, but it is what it is. Here's Bernardo Silva now. And the right-hand side half space, he's got free reign to pretty much roam wherever he wants in this Manchester City side. Matheus Nunes, that's a poor pass. Cole Palmer can't bring that under control. Big game needed from Cole as Mark Gahey just strides away from him. City looking to step it up here. Chelsea win the ball nicely. Oh, come on, ref. Jarell Harto looking to nick the ball there. He did, but just catches him on that occasion. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Bajaj. What do you think? Come on. I'm not feeling it in terms of result. I'm certainly not going to be predicting anything, but if there's ever a time for Chelsea to beat Manchester City, this would be it. I mean, since 2021, it's been nothing but losses from Chelsea and a few draws. The pitch is as slow as the Eden's Gardens pitch. I completely agree. That's where the Chelsea's passing has to be spot on here. And it might just affect Manchester City because they like that slick combination play as well. It's a free kick for Manchester City. Semenyo is looking to line this one up for a blast, but the way that Kusanov is possibly looking at this one, he might look to give an almighty thumb from distance. Is that Sanchez or Petr Cech? Exactly. It's a good omen with Sanchez with the Czech helmet. It's Semenyo with the free kick. It's a weak one. Chelsea easily defend that. And now Cole Palmer can run if he gets there first, but he's not going to beat Abdulkadir Kusanov in a foot race, that's for sure. The throw in for Chelsea. Just about managed the early stages. We saw against Crystal Palace where City don't really rush it. They take their time and it looked pretty tepid from City's point of view in the opening 30 minutes or so. But once that first goal goes in, City just start to dominate proceedings. Ooh, Chelsea might have lost the ball there. Levi Colwill just hammers that forward. João Pedro will have to chase this down. Comfortable for James Trafford. Well, big call by Pep Guardiola, but not surprising really. We saw Trafford in the Carabao Cup final, which means that there was no real surprise that he would start the final here today. Here's Nico O'Reilly. Very good pass here for Omar Marmoush. Big game for Marmoush as well. He's gotten the nod of approval as Nico O'Reilly's in the box. Goes for the cutback. It's a corner for Manchester City. Just like that. City looking to open it up. On that left-hand side is where Manchester City will be their most dangerous. O'Reilly and Doku will cause us problems all evening long. For free kicks like that, we need Alex. Exactly. If you remember this jersey, he scored one against Arsenal when in the 2010-2011 season, thumped it from about 30 yards. Antoine Semenyo does not have the lead in his right leg. Oh, that's a decent cross here. There's a chance at the fast take. Defended well by João Pedro. Chelsea do manage to clear. I think there was a foul, but Chelsea's defending very lackadaisical there. Our far post defending will never improve till the day I'm alive. I mean, just look at this, man. Rodri completely unmarked. He's onside as well. João Pedro thankfully was in the right position, and I think it was a foul for the race boot by Erling Haaland. Reece James putting his head where it might have hurt, but Chelsea survive. Well, 10 minutes on the clock. So far, Rob Sanchez had nothing to do. And the same goes for James Trafford as well. Well, 10 minutes, no goal is objective one ticked from Chelsea's point of view. Make sure that Erling Haaland gets frustrated, but Erling Haaland just needs a chance. Can we keep playing long? Ooh, the header by Rodri is comfortable for Trafford. Need to get the ball on the deck and keep that passing going. Need to make sure that Cole Palmer and João Pedro have some sort of understanding. Here's Nico O'Reilly. Rodri will keep the ball for days as Bernardo Silva shifts it onto the right-hand side. And now Mateus Nunes can shift forward. Here's Semenyo. He's up against Marc Cucurella. Semenyo. Couple of step overs, drifts in field, goes for the back heel to Mateus Nunes. Cucurella defends very well. Very, very well. Please don't foul. Please don't foul. He doesn't. City still with the attack here. Again, I'm more worried about City's left-hand side than their right. But we know that Semenyo has got that high for the goal. He's been brilliant for City, really. Taking some of that goal-scoring responsibility off Haaland. Here's Doku up against Gusto for the first time where the Belgian can really have a run at him. Cole Palmer helping out defensively. So is João Pedro. They worked it well again, but Chelsea squeezed the spaces out. It's another goal kick. We saw this against Crystal Palace where Mark Guéhi, well, his average position with City dominating possession was in that left-hand side half space. He continues to be there. Did score that brilliant goal against Chelsea at the bridge. O'Reilly and of course, Mark Guéhi gave City the 2-0 advantage and Jeremy Doku added the third after a Moises Caicedo mistake. Well, no surprise that City are bossing possession, but Chelsea play out the back decently. Oh, Jarell Hato, that's very risky. Chelsea lost the ball. Enzo Fernandez shuts him down. And now João Pedro. And that's a foul there. Much better from João. Well, João Pedro's hold-up play will be critical. Absolutely critical. Need to make sure that he takes some of the pressure off. Chelsea have no real pace out in the wings either. Jarell Hato finds Marc Cucurella. Is that a foul, ref? It isn't. Now Caicedo. To Levi Colwill now. And Chelsea need to be patient. When we do have the ball, make sure that we make use of it. Enzo Fernandez clips it into the channel here. João Pedro can run. I think he might be onside here. It's a poorish touch, but somehow brings that under control and the belated offside flag raised. That's certainly a tactic which Enzo Fernandez will be using. Let's have a look whether or not João was offside. Yep, I think he's just offside there. Good run though. City will hold that high line. And Chelsea need to keep the ball on the deck here. Yet to see anything of Cole Palmer in an attacking sense as Jeremy Doku now on the left-hand side. Again, every time Jeremy Doku has the ball, you can see Fofana and Malo Gusto immediately locked into him. On the right-hand side. You need to test Trafford. Very iffy keeper. He's decent. He's absolutely decent, that's for sure. But I don't think Chelsea need to just shoot on sight here. We need to make sure that the first objective is met here, which is keep the ball, pass it around, and try and create something good here. I don't think he looked on there, Manny. He was definitely offside. You could see from the cut of the grass. It was a good call there from the linesman, but it's a decent strategy from Chelsea's point of view. The City will hold that high line. João Pedro will keep spinning in behind and try and make those runs. Well, thank you all for tuning in, boys. Certainly makes it... I feel that I need the support here. I can still feel my heart beating out of my chest here. And for a Chelsea side that have been unserious throughout the campaign, it was that PSG double-legger which I felt this way before, and now the FA Cup final where Chelsea looking to exercise 8 years of pain in the FA Cup. Pep Guardiola looking dapper as usual, prowling around nervously on the touchline. Into the 15th minute, Rob Sanchez yet to get any sort of action so far. But Sanchez, when he does get bored, might look to do something rash here. Absolutely critical that he keeps the shape. But we need the support, Manny. We absolutely need the support. Here's O'Reilly. Chelsea have shut the Manchester City midfield decently in the early stages. Here's Kusanov. Finds Nico O'Reilly. And now Matheus Nunes on the right-hand side. The City's fullbacks have got so much quality and varying quality, really. Nunes is an absolute powerhouse on the right-hand side. The way that Pep Guardiola has converted a centre midfielder into a very trusted and able right-back. It's a great sign from Pep Guardiola's coaching manual. Here's Rodri. To Mark Gahey. Again, this is harmless possession. And every time they go long, it should be Chelsea's. And that is it. Keep playing long, and that is good for Chelsea's point of view. Sanchez, again, yet to really have anything of note, and he continues to play long. Chelsea in no mood to build out the back, especially in the early stages. I like that we are taking some of that risk element out of our play, but need to make sure that the players get a few more touches. Yet to see anything of Cole Palmer, Moises Caicedo, or Reece James. Here's Kusanov. Onto the right-hand side to Matheus Nunes again. Now Semenyo. Marc Cucurella does have good 1v1 defensive abilities, and he will be tested for the next 75 minutes, that's for sure, as Semenyo is relentless with his runs. Here's Mark Gahey now. Chelsea not pressing the two centre-halves. It's critical that we press Rodri, though. Now it looks like Moises Caicedo just gets out of the box and makes sure that he applies a bit of pressure. Here's Semenyo. Cucurella has been given the runaround, but Cucurella comes across and does very well on that occasion. Cucurella is absolutely convinced that should have been a Chelsea throw-in. Again, nothing foolish, boys. No yellow cards, no foolish yellow cards early on. Walk away, Mark. Walk away. Wasn't Nico O'Reilly a 10? Midfielders into fullbacks is the new tactical meta, the reverse Lam effort. I'm not sure he was a number 10, but I know he was a centre midfielder. Maybe he has a number 10, but the way that he plays, he can play anywhere on the pitch, man. True baller. Well, Cucurella needs to calm down here. It's just a throw-in, lad. Just let it go. There's no need. I mean, every time you have those kind of moments, the next foul, he'll possibly get booked. The last thing that we can afford is our wing-backs getting booked, especially with the number of 1v1 duels that they're going to have for the rest of the match up against Doku and Semenyo. Chelsea yet to lay a glove on Manchester City, but it's okay. It's going to be moments where we're going to have to suffer. It's going to be large periods where Chelsea will not sniff the ball. Here's Kusanov. Now driving forward. City need to step it up here. Lovely play from Kusanov. Gets away from João Pedro on that occasion. Back to Mark Gahey. It's the defenders who are having most of the touches here for Manchester City. Everybody camped in the Chelsea half now. Rodri. I think that's the first time we've seen Omar Marmoush just dropping in. Big call there by Pep Guardiola. He's taken the big Wembley pitch into consideration And of course, Marmoush has scored in back-to-back games, but Shirky as your chief creator not on the pitch, certainly helping Chelsea as another long ball out for a goal kick. Well, not bad. Not bad at all. And we'll have to take this in stages. It's not going to be pretty. Might get very, very ugly at times, but keep this at 0-0 for the next 20 minutes or so. We'll have to be tactical. We'll have to be very savvy with the ball. Clear instructions here by Callum McFarlane that there's absolutely no need to go short here. Keep going long. Joao Pedro wins the first header, but Cole Palmer and Joao both vying for the same ball. You can see that Malo Gusto isn't playing as a wing back. He's very much as almost an auxiliary right back. Haven't seen him getting forward once. Callum McFarlane will be slightly concerned that Chelsea have yet to get going, but Chelsea have pinched the ball here in midfield. Enzo Fernandez finds Marc Cucurella. And Chelsea need to be productive here. Nice ball there. Jarell Hato finding Reece James. Chelsea on the attack for the first time here. Malo Gusto with a cross into the box. Oh, brilliant defending there. Marc Cucurella was waiting for the tap in at the back post. It was nearly wing back to wing back as Mateus Nunes comes across and makes the challenge. Good play this from Chelsea. Much better. Reece James immediately finding Gusto. One touch to get it out of his feet. One to put it into the box. Good defending by the Portuguese. Corner for Chelsea. First corner of the match with 20 minutes on the clock. Well, Chelsea, in terms of set pieces, both attacking and defensively, have been really poor this season. If there's ever a time to score from a set piece, this would be it. Reece James to deliver. Might look to keep this shot he has. Change of angle for Reece. Not sure what the tactic was here. It's just needless possession, and what a fucking waste, man. Gone all the way back. Put the ball into the box at least. We wasted a corner. Just ends up keeping a bit of possession. Sanchez decides to go long. It's Joao Pedro giving the chase again. And he'll make himself a nuisance, but Abdulkadir Kusanov has had his number so far. Again, Chelsea have not shown any sort of intent yet. A few moments will give us a bit of confidence knowing that we can get behind Manchester City. Here's Rodri now. Oh, he's given the ball away needlessly. Chelsea, oh, Levi Colwill again gives the ball. Rodri and Levi Colwill, two of the best passers in the pitch here. Both give the ball away, and now Manchester City on the attack here. It's Jeremy Doku. Couple of shimmies. Chelsea do well. Very well. So far, the best any Chelsea managers balanced the Chelsea 11 whilst having both Palmer and Enzo. Oh, there's a chance here for Joao Pedro. He is onside here. He's in the box, needs a bit of support. Might go himself. Oh, what a waste. He should have squared it to Enzo. Decides to do too much by himself. What a waste. But we are getting behind Manchester City here on a couple of occasions. Well, the only reason that we've got Palmer and Enzo as the number 10s is because we're playing with wing backs and both defensive wing backs. Again, no wingers on the pitch. Defensively, the collective defensive structure feels like it has a greater bottom level and not getting outnumbered anywhere by City's point of view. I think Chelsea's defensive shape has been good. Again, having Reece and Caicedo man that midfield pivot certainly does give me a bit more confidence. And the back three, of course, shut down Haaland and Marmoush so far. Yet to see Haaland have a touch of the ball. It's nearly halfway stage of the first half. And if you look at the two strikers, it's been Joao Pedro who's been involved most. Again, Cole Palmer gets the foul. Comfortably. You're 30 seconds ahead and I see it live, waiting to see your frustration. Look of hope in your eyes being dashed in real time. Come on, Manny. Gotta back me. We've had a few moments, decent moments, especially down that right-hand side. Here's Jarell Hato. Finds Levi Colwill. Please go long. No, decides to keep it short. Sanchez under a bit of pressure. Finding Wesley Fofana. Chelsea are looking to play out the back here. Reece James. Careful. He's given the ball away. They've pinched it here. It's Erling Haaland. Oh, what a curious decision that was for Haaland. He has to go for the cutback to Semenyo. He decides to flash it across the face of goal. Chelsea get very, very lucky. Reece James robbed off the ball. This should have been 1-0. He goes for Marmoush. And Chelsea give the ball away again. Thankfully, Caicedo is there on scene. And now Levi Colville can stride forward with the ball. João Pedro, that is pathetic. Come on. Such a poor pass. That's twice now from João Pedro. He had to square it to Enzo Fernandez in the previous attack. Decided to take the shot himself. Ooh, Caicedo. He's down here. Not sure as to what that was. Was it a contact injury or is he done some sort of damage? We do have Dario Sugo on the bench. He's as like for like to Moises Caicedo as it comes in world football. But Dario Sugo's had absolutely no minutes, so would be very curious to see whether or not he would be thrust into the situation. But into the 25th minute, Pep Guardiola will not be pleased with this. We'll have seen Chelsea having a few moments, his side being not very potent in front of goal. The only chance really that they've had is Reece James getting robbed off the ball. That's why you see that Chelsea have not taken any sort of chances. Caicedo's testing out that knee. Still not sure as to what happened. It does look like he's just suffering a little bit. Where's Lavia? Still injured? No, I think he's fit, but not good enough to be on the bench. Plus, it's this big Wembley pitch again that we talked about that Romeo Lavia will certainly have a lot of troubles covering. I do have Dario Sugo and Andre Santos as the two options. Again, there's no real point to having Lavia on the pitch here. Make sure that he gets his fitness up and running for the start of the next season. If Romeo Lavia has had 3 campaigns at Chelsea and hasn't completed 90 minutes once. Levi Colville has come back from an ACL injury this season and he played 90 minutes at Anfield. Here's Mark Gahey now. And Chelsea can take a lot of heart. I'm just looking at Moises Caicedo, whether or not his mobility is compromised. He is hobbling around. City might look to play out through the centre. Chelsea committing a lot of players forward in this press, forcing City to possibly go long. Trafford keeps it short to O'Reilly, and if City beat the press here, they're in business. Well done by Chelsea. They win the ball back, and Levi Colville shows great composure. Here's Caicedo. Nice pass to Enzo Fernandez, nearly slips it through to João Pedro. City win the ball back, and now they can counter. Good play there by Enzo Fernandez, but that's a foul according to the referee. Again, get away. There's no need to argue. Here's Nunez now. And running forward unopposed. Now Semenyo up against Marc Cucurella. Cucurella has had the better of Cameroon. Oh, that's a clever pass. He might be onside here. There's a chance, and it is 1-0 to Manchester City. I think the offside flag has been raised though. Well, thankfully, Nunez was offside. Again, Caicedo is not tracking the run of Nunez. He just lets him go, and he's clearly offside. Well, the pitch gives you anxiety for all the ACLs and MCLs, not a surface for rapid change of direction. I mean, something's got to change about Wembley's, man. Something has to change. It's dry, it's a dead ground, really. Have you seen any iconic new Wembley moments? I mean, the 2007 final, Chelsea versus Manchester United certainly was. The first ever final at the new Wembley Stadium where Didier Drogba scored in extra time. Yep, he was miles off. Into the 28th minute here. Chelsea looking to take it step by step, stage by stage. Mark Gahey now venturing forward. Finding Nico O'Reilly. We can take a lot of heart with this first half performance. Need to see a little bit more, but as I mentioned before, in stages. Get the out of possession work done first. Make sure that City don't carve out too many chances. Trafford on the ball. Oh, Jesse Lingard banger. Yeah, that was what, 2015? Or was that 2016? Louis van Gaal's season. Oh, Caicedo wins the ball nicely, but João Pedro can't get there first. Hi, Vasid. Welcome to the stream, brother. Thanks for joining in. I'm doing very well. I'm still nervous, on edge. This is going to be a very hectic hour plus at the Wembley Stadium. Thanks a lot for joining in the stream, my friend. All good, bro. All good. Nervous. Very, very nervous. On the right-hand side, Chelsea look to build. Wesley Fofana driving forward. Decent carry here by the Frenchman. Lets it go to Malo Gusto. Oh, it has to be a better pass there, Wes. Needs to be in front of Malo rather than right at him. Chelsea's players out of position. Jeremy Doku with a couple of nutmegs. Good play there by Enzo Fernandez. Goes snapping into the challengers. Oh, that's not a foul, ref. Enzo, walk away. You're going to pick up a yellow card if you don't. That looked like a fair challenge. He is going to pick up a yellow card. Chelsea's first yellow goes to the vice captain. Not sure why Enzo Fernandez is arguing, but he needs to walk away though. He's got the ball there, man. He had to get the ball. I mean, come on, ref. I mean, it's a bad challenge, but he's gotten all of the ball. That is, I mean, could he have given that a yellow card? I'm not sure, man. Considering he gets the ball first, to give Enzo a yellow card is a poor decision there from Darren England. Well, Enzo's certainly on it today, Gautam. Yet to see anything of Cole Palmer, but Chelsea are playing long. Enzo Fernandez does have that big game personality about him. Enzo needs to be careful there. No more fouls, no more challenges, no more arguments. To the 30th minute. Again, Erling Haaland's only involvement was tapping the ball in back post for that offside goal. It just shows you that City are dangerous in moments too. Haaland shows good play there, but he can't bring that under control and find the pass. Here's Levi Colwill now. Yeah, the follow-through got the yellow, that's true. But once you win the ball, there has to be some sort of, like a pardon really? That, yep, you got the ball. Yes, it's slightly out of control. Again, can João Pedro keep the ball? Oh, yes, he can. Beautifully done by the Brazilian. Lovely centre-forward play from him, finding Cole Palmer, who's offside. Yet to see the João Pedro-Cole Palmer connection in the final here. 50 minutes remaining in the first half. Still 0-0 the scoreline. Again, Cole Palmer. Yep, clearly offside. Good line held there by the City defenders. Mateus Nunes making sure that he steps up slightly. Oh my word, it's João Pedro holding his thigh. Please tell me that's a contact injury and nothing more. If João Pedro's off the pitch and Liam Delap comes on, it's over. Please, João, get up. Please. Again, I think it's studs on the thigh rather than anything contact or muscle related. If Liam Delap comes onto the pitch, it's game over, man. João is under a bit of distress. He's seeing Noel Gallagher is in the hospitality box. Again, where are the big names? Fuck off, Gotham. There's no way that we're seeing Liam Delap on the pitch here today. Absolutely not. Here's Cole Palmer for the first time. Brilliant from Cole. We're in business here. Cole Palmer. Oh my word. Make a decision, Cole. Takes an extra touch and the ball goes away. And now it's Manchester City on the counter-attack. Chelsea left thin at the back. That's a foul possibly by Cucurella. It's going to be a yellow card for Cuckoo as well. Chelsea crumbling here. 2 yellow cards in very quick time. Again, I'm not sure why Cucurella makes that challenge. Why? It makes no sense. Yes, he's running at you, but come on. To make that challenge was so needless. Again, he's chopping in. Where's he going to go? There's cover behind you. It's such a poor challenge. Well, there was no complaints. I mean, there was a bit of complaints about the Enzo Fernandez one. No complaints about the Marc Cucurella one. And now Cucurella walking the tightrope against Semenyo. So far in open play, Manchester City have not done too much. Set pieces could be the way to unlock this game. They've taken it short, surprisingly. Here's Bernardo Silva in the half space, though, on the right-hand side. Now Semenyo can run at Marc Cucurella, who's on a yellow card. Semenyo with a couple of step-overs, leaves him for dead. Oh, that's a poor shot there by Antoine Semenyo on his left-hand side. It seems that Marc Cucurella will always show him on his left foot here. Because Semenyo is right-footed, he has a bit of that doesn't want to really chop inside. But when he does, to take a shot, pretty poor. Well, heads have gone a little bit, but halftime would be perfect here. Take the 0-0 at halftime. We have had few moments, but the fact that oh my goodness me, Cole Palmer, you cannot give the ball away again there. He's having a stinker here. Here's Malo Gusto though. That's certainly a foul by Doku on the Frenchman. Well, Malo Gusto has kept the clamps on Jeremy Doku in the opening half an hour. Chelsea putting the back five is certainly the right move here. Again, when things get desperate, we can certainly bring on one of the wingers. I'm sure it's going to be Pedro Neto. Well, Neto as left wing back for Marc Cucurella would be a like for like, but attacking change. We know that Neto has got the willingness to track back. I think in the second half, that has to be the move from Callum McFarlane, really. Joao Pedro wins it again. Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer looking to put pressure. Nico O'Reilly, beautiful under pressure. The way that he just strides away with the drop of the shoulder. Chelsea forcing City backwards though. Here's the skipper, Bernardo Silva, to Mark Gahey. 10 minutes remaining. Well, that was the game, right? It was very surprising not to see Ryan Cherki in the starting 11, Gautam. But again, the only explanation or the only justification is the large Wembley pitch. Omar Marmoush, I mean, he's been pretty much non-existent. Not the kind of game that you're hoping to have when Pep Guardiola puts so much faith in you. You're all expecting Cherki to start. Here's Caicedo finding Palmer. 10 minutes plus added on time remaining in the first half. Malo Gusto down the right-hand side. Might look to chop this one into the box. Decides against it. Now goes on the outside. Hammers that ball away, but it's poor from Gusto. Straight into the hands of Trafford. Chelsea have had a few moments, but nothing more than that. James Trafford or Rob Sanchez have had saves to make. Here's Bernardo Silva. Just feels like the onus is on Manchester City to get the opening goal. The longer this stays 0-0, better chance that we have. It's the old cliche, but it does apply here. Especially against a City side who, once they get that momentum, once they get that fire going, very difficult to stop. And we know that in the second half, we're going to see the likes of Foden, Cherki, and possibly even Savinho. Here's on the left-hand side. Here's Doku again. Keeps it short. Rodri. Cucurella is there and he wins the header. He's not going to get a foul for it. Enzo Fernandez, he wants a foul and he's going to get it. Clever there by Enzo. He knows that any sort of touch and he's going to crumble like a ton of bricks, which is exactly what he's done. 9 minutes plus added on time remaining at the Wembley Stadium. It's been an intriguing game. Not too much quality on display. Both sides pretty much cancelling each other out. Chelsea's back five has worked so far. And the only change that I'm foreseeing or want to see on the pitch is Pedro Neto coming on for Marc Cucurella in the second half. Oh, if that pass found Palmer, we would have been in business. Again, Chelsea not taking care of the ball in the middle of the park. Good composure shown there by Levi. Fofana finds Malo Gusto. Again, look in midfield. Look. Forced to go backwards to Colville again. Good pass between the lines. What a pass that is from Levi Colville, man. We've missed that all season long. Chelsea play out the City press beautifully. Here's Malo Gusto now. Slows the pace of the attack. Here's the skipper, Reece James. Caicedo. Now Levi Colville. Chelsea defenders on the halfway line for the first time, really. Here's Enzo on the left-hand side, half space. Enzo looks for the clip pass for Malo Gusto. First time ball into the box here. Good stooping header by Mark Gahey. Chelsea now putting on a bit of pressure. Much better, really. Will give us that bit of confidence heading into the second half that we can have the ball in the City half. Here's Levi Colville. Reece James now. Well, the back three with Levi as centre back just changes the way that our team can play football. Here's Wesley Fofana. Again, Chelsea forced to retreat here. Again, he goes for the line breaker. Looks to hammer that pass. Well defended by Kusanov. Throw in for Chelsea. Again in the City half here. This is the first time in the match that we have any sort of territory in the opposition half. 7 minutes plus added on time remaining here. Pisses you off seeing Gehi do well. Chelsea idiots for selling every good academy as asset. And the thing was, Mark Gehi got sold in the Lampard season where Chelsea were giving minutes to all the academy players. But Mark Gehi was so far down the pecking order. We had Andres Christensen, we had Antonio Rudiger, we had Kurt Zouma. I mean, there were a lot of defenders. You can understand why Mark Gehi wanted to move and get regular game time. Chelsea in business here. Cole Palmer with the cutback. Kukurea having to retrieve that paw from Cole, man. What is that pass? Can Chelsea in the City box need to take advantage, be a little bit more deliberate rather than just putting the ball into the box and hoping for the best? CBs who can punch the ball between the lines, absolutely love it. Levi Colville is a massive asset for us, man. Next season, I really hope we can get Josh Achimpong in the fray as well, but it looks like Chelsea's treatment of Josh has been abhorrent, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea loaned him or sold him next season. I think we might have put a buyback clause. We did put for Nathan Ake, I remember. City ended up buying Nathan Ake from Bournemouth. Chelsea did have the first opportunity. It's Cole Palmer again on the right-hand side here. Chelsea ending the first half well. Cole's ball is not good, but we're going to get a corner. Well, the last time Chelsea took a corner, it absolutely stunk. It ended up going all the way back to Rob Sanchez. This one has to go into the box here. Well, Chelsea have taken Manchester City's best punch in the opening 40 minutes. They've barely laid a glove on us in terms of putting us under sustained pressure. With 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the first half, and if Chelsea can pinch a goal before half-time, wow. Come on, boys. Corner for Chelsea. Reece James will take this one. Again, it's all about the delivery. Reece delivers. It's got height on it. Good defending there by Erling Haaland. Kukurea with the strike. Slightly off balance. Chelsea have to be careful here because City on the break can be very dangerous. It's Cole Palmer. Switches the play out. Again, Cole's had a terrible 40 minutes, man. We need better from him. Here's Kukurea. Jarell Hato finding his way forward, but that's a foul on the ex-Chelsea player, Mark Gehi. Well, as long as City don't score in the next 5 minutes, we're good. Half the league has one or two players starting who are Cobham grabs. Yep, absolutely. It's the Cobham heritage. Got a lot of ex-Chelsea players, not just in the Premier League, but littered around Europe as well. 4 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the first half. Pep Guardiola does look slightly worried, but Ryan Cherki is warming up with a little bit more intensity, expecting him to come immediately in the second half. I don't think Omar Marmoush is going to survive. Not at all. Not the ideal performance from Omar Marmoush, getting the big nod in the FA Cup final. Last 10 minutes, Chelsea have had 70% possession. Not bad. Not bad at all. Chelsea do have a couple of players on yellow cards. Marc Cucurella being one, and of course Enzo Fernandez getting a yellow card for winning the ball, but his follow-through being slightly aggressive. Thomas Tuchel. We know he's always at the bridge. We know that he's got a soft side for Chelsea. Well, Thomas Tuchel did sign a new deal. Ooh. If Joao Pedro fed that ball through for Cole Palmer, we would have been in business. 3 minutes plus added on time remaining. Jeremy Doku now looking to have a run at Malo Gusto. Reece James immediately acting as an auxiliary right back. Good play there, forcing him backwards. Chelsea's work off the ball has been excellent. Few positives that we can take. Here's Marmoush. He knows that his number's up. He's not going to get... He might get 5 or 10 minutes into the second half, but I don't expect Pep Guardiola to be passive in that sense. He's going to want Cherki on the ball and try and give something to Haaland, because Erling Haaland has been a total passenger here. Come on, boys. Tell me how many touches has he done it? How many touches has Erling Haaland had in 43 minutes of football? This game is the biggest advert for day drinking. Cannot do this sober. Well, I'm nervous. Oh, Haaland might get here first. First time really Haaland with the strike. And just like that, Erling Haaland activated in the Chelsea box. Chelsea falling asleep there. Good save by Rob Sanchez at the near post. Brilliant pass this by Mark Gahey. My goodness me, that is so poor from Wesley Fofana. He lets him go. Good strike there by Haaland. It is straight at Sanchez. Corner for City. And Mark Gahey's ability to pick that pass was special. City take a short corner here. Doku up against him. There's a chance here. Bernardo Silva gets the ball into the box. Thankfully, it's overhit. City still have the ball though. Here's Semenyo in the half space. On his left foot though. Reece James keeps him on his left, forcing him to go backwards. If City score before half-time, it is going to be a hammer blow. Here's Kusanov. Again, good play from City. Well, Erling Haaland, all he needs is one chance. A minute left of normal time. Not 89 mil, 70 mil on Fofana, Manny. But yeah, we still overplayed. Overpaid massively. We sent him to the States for a medical to make sure that he was all good, and he picked up 3 or 4 major injuries after that. Well, he's played more football this season than he has the last 3 seasons combined. He's not picked up an injury this season. Good to see that. It was long overdue. I think Fofana was behind Van Dijk. I think Harry Maguire, Van Dijk and Wesley Fofana. These are the 3 highest paid defenders. The highest transfer fee paid for defenders. I think Ruben Diaz is on that list as well. We're heading into added on time. The camera pans to Ryan Cherki. He's going to be coming on, and Chelsea will have different problems. Again, it's a heavy touch there by Jeremy Doku. He might be able to keep that in play. He can't. Throw in for Chelsea. 3 minutes of added on time in the first half. Chelsea have done well. Well enough at least. As long as it's 0-0 towards half time. Might have a chance to attack them in the second half. But the last 5 or 7 minutes, or even 10 minutes, I would say, Chelsea have been slightly better. But we did see Erling Haaland have a shot on goal. Haaland, who's had absolutely nothing really in terms of contributions, comes alive in the box. Here's Nunez. Forcing Bernardo Silva backwards. Again, Joao Pedro does very well to pinch the ball here. Joao Pedro could be in business. He gets away. Kusanov is so good, man. How does he just step across? Joao Pedro wants the pen, but he's not going to get it. Again, to try and beat Kusanov in a race is pretty foolish. Try and go on the inside there rather than go on the outside where Kusanov will have the opportunity to run. Joao Pedro is convinced that that could have been a pen. Let's have a look here. He comes across. I mean, you're never really going to get a pen for it. There is contact. But that would be shoulder to shoulder. Yep, it didn't look like a pen first up. Wasn't a pen. Just because there's contact in the box doesn't mean it's a pen, Manny. Shoulder to shoulder. Again, going on the outside of Kusanov. There's no need for it. We're going to get no joy considering his recovery pace. Here's Levi Colwill. Good touch there by Wesley Fofana. Chelsea looking to pinch a goal before halftime would be absolutely massive here. Again, going for the big switch here for Cucurella. Heads it to Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea looking to end the first half in sensational fashion. Enzo Fernandez decides to keep the ball short, which is the right decision, to Jarell Hato. Good to see that Caicedo is playing through whatever problems he had faced early on in the first half. Now Malo Gusto finds Cole Palmer. That's not a pen, man. I mean, I would love for that to be a pen, but that's not a pen. Once he comes across and once he's in front of you, if it's shoulder to shoulder or shoulder to chest, it doesn't really matter. Reece James looking to play the channel pass. Chelsea giving chase, forcing Manchester City to go backwards. And Bernardo Silva under a bit of pressure just hacks it forward. Levi Colwill wins the ball nicely. Reece James Now on the right-hand side, carries on Reese on the first time with the overlap. Put the ball in, Reese. He doesn't. He checks his run. Oh, and he gives the ball away. It might be the final action of the first half. It's come across the referee. I think that will be that in terms of the first half action. The referee does blow the halftime whistle at the Wembley Stadium. 0-0 the scoreline. Erling Haaland getting the only real opportunity in terms of a goal-scoring chance. It was straight at Sanchez. But other than that, both teams have cancelled each other out. Objective 1 achieved from Chelsea's point of view. Well done, boys. We have had to dig deep. We have had to suffer through long periods, but we have done well. Yeah, Gautam, he's nowhere near the ball, but once you're shoulder to shoulder or shoulder to chest on that occasion, you're never really going to get a pen for it. Again, for Joao Pedro to go on the outside. See, if he goes on the inside and then there's a challenge from Kusanov, it's probably shoulder to back. And then it's a clear-cut penalty. But when you're facing that way, you're never going to get the pen. But what choice do we have? Are we going to go toe-to-toe with Manchester City, Gautam? We're not. I mean, the massive Wembley pitch with Doku and Semenyo to run, Kukurea on a yellow card. There's no way that Chelsea are going to be expansive. What we have done is been savvy, and I'll take that. Just show a bit of game intelligence. Take this game as deep as possible. Hit City on the counter-attack. Now, as I mentioned before, the only change that I can envisage from Chelsea's point of view is that left wing-back where Pedro Neto comes on for Marc Cucurella. Now, that might give Chelsea a bit of running power, which we have certainly lacked on that left-hand side. Now, Neto for Cucurella would be my substitution that I would make. Nowhere else do I see any sort of problems, but Chelsea need to take care of the ball better in the second half. We need to see Cole Palmer raise his levels in the second 45 minutes, that's for sure. I thought his first half was pretty poor. Enzo Fernandez had few decent moments. Caicedo and Reece James did well to lock down that midfield. The back three has looked solid. Erling Haaland has had very little to do. It was the only pass that Mark Gahey found into the channel where Erling Haaland had a strike straight at Sanchez. But other than that, we have kept City at arm's length, which has been objective 1. Tick from the boys. Yep, no notes. Absolutely no notes. McFarlane knows that he has to... There's absolutely no way that he can go out there and play City toe-to-toe here, especially with Chelsea lacking pace all over the pitch. But there's been a level of collective control that we have seen, and that's a huge plus from us. This is a smash and grab job, absolutely. If there's ever a time to have a proper smash and grab, this would be it. And there you go. Cherki, he's going to come on and make the impact. He's the player that I'm worried about the most, because if Chelsea do just retreat back into their back five, it's Ryan Cherki who can just find those clever passes. He's got the weight and he's got the inventiveness to find the pass that is needed to break this Chelsea defense open. Levi Colwill as a centre back. Welcome back, Levi. Absolutely love it. He's been brilliant for us. I mean, coming back from an ACL injury this season, played 30 minutes at Nottingham Forest, at Stamford Bridge, played 90 minutes at Anfield, and it looks like he'll play 90 plus minutes again here today. Chelsea will have to make sure that we taper him off here, but we've got Spurs midweek and a chance to possibly relegate Spurs, so it's going to be another 90-minute shift from Levi Colwill by the looks of it, but Chelsea really have to be very, very careful. We cannot go gung-ho in terms of giving Levi Colwill reckless minutes, and it's critical that we make sure that Levi just gets his fitness back, and if he goes to the World Cup, I mean, it's going to be I expect him to be on the plane, but if Thomas Tuchel keeps him back at Cobham, thank you so much, Thomas Tuchel. But from City's point of view, they can certainly improve in the second half. I know that Omar Marmoush is going to get hooked, but it's just a matter of when, not if. I'm expecting him to come out immediately in the second half. Yep, Levi has been physically sharp. You should have seen him at Anfield, man. He was really good. Again, looked like he hadn't missed any sort of time, but we have to make sure that we manage him. We cannot just throw him play 90 minutes back to back. That is a bit reckless. But yes, when he's fit, when he's on form, first choice centre-back, no problems whatsoever. You're taking him to the World Cup. I mean, come on. Are you going to take him or are you going to take someone like Ezri Konsa? It's got to be Levi Colwill, but We'll take the 0-0 heading into half-time. City have not troubled us, but again, when Ryan Shirky comes on, the game will change. I want to see whether or not Callum McFarlane is going to be brave. Maybe in that 55, 60-minute mark, he brings on Pedro Neto for Marco Correa. Give us some sort of pace on that left-hand side. City have had few half chances. Erling Haaland has been on the periphery of things, but when that chance did fall to him, did manage to have a strike on goal. City did have the ball in the back of the net, but Mateus Nunes was miles offside. Well, Chelsea's chances have been limited, but we need to trouble James Trafford a lot more in the second half. João Pedro, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez need to see a bit more from them in terms of the collective. But it's going to be absolutely critical that Chelsea keep that clean sheet for as long as possible heading into the second half. Well, boys, I'll be back for the second half. Do stay tuned. It's going to be a very, very hectic 45 minutes plus. If it goes into stoppage time and pens, I'm going to be a nervous wreck, that's for sure. But do stay tuned. Thank you all for continuing to support the stream. It means the world to me, boys. And it will be back for the second half. Do stay tuned. Well, we're just minutes away from the start of the second half. A 0-0 scoreline at halftime is pretty much the best that we could have expected here heading into this game. Our record at Wembley since winning that FA Cup in 2018 has been horrendous, especially in the finals and semi-finals. City have not lost to Chelsea since losing that final at Porto in the Champions League. The stage is set here for a massive 45 minutes from Chelsea's point of view. We have to get this absolutely spot on here. Well, Chelsea did lack a bit of wide threat in that final third, especially on that left-hand side. I'm expecting maybe, just maybe because he's on a yellow card, Mark Cucurella might be coming on, because I fully expect Ryan Cherki to come on here and he's going to cause us so many problems, that's for sure. Yep, Manny, I'm just going to fix the timer. I'm ready. Well, we're all set. We're all set. Ryan Cherki is going to come on for Manchester City. Fully expected him to replace Omar Marmoush, and that is happening right at halftime. No time wasted by Pep Guardiola. He's going to fully look to attack this second 45 minutes. It was a very surprising decision to start Omar Marmoush, but now he has rectified it, bringing on him to replace the dangerous Ryan Cherki, who's got 12 Premier League assists, and he's been an absolute baller for Manchester City this season. Huge 45 minutes coming up. Manchester City, not at their best in the first 45, but we expect them to raise their levels in the second half. Chelsea need to keep that clean sheet for as long as possible, knowing that Manchester City will be like hungry wolves to go out there and try and do the domestic double, while still looking to win the Premier League with 2 games to go, 2 points behind Arsenal. This could well and truly turn out to be a special Pep Guardiola campaign. We are off and running for the start of the second half. Ryan Cherki immediately in that number 10 position for Omar Marmoush. And now Manchester City will carry a genuine threat going forward here. That combination between Ryan Cherki and Erling Haaland will cause us problems in the second 45 minutes, that's for sure, as Jeremy Doku fouls Malo Gusto. We did put the clamps on Jeremy Doku and Antoine Semenyo. Absolutely critical that we continue to do the same, but we need to have some sort of a threat on that left-hand side. Malo Gusto has found himself on that right-hand side, attacking-wise, putting a couple of balls into the box. But on the left-hand side, we're still lacking that power, pace, and a bit of presence. Reece James and Moises Caicedo in midfield have done their job. Levi Colwill, absolutely critical in terms of how we try and build out the back. Again, it's a ball forward for Joao Pedro to chase. He has brought it down nicely, though. He's got a few runners in front of him. Joao Pedro does the right thing of just shielding the ball and protecting it. Chelsea with the ball in the City half. Here's Jarell Hato. Finds Levi Colwill. And now to Reece James. Well, Reece James did get his pockets pinched, and it nearly resulted in a goal. Chelsea drawing the City press here. Reece James shifts it onto the right-hand side. Wesley Fofana's touch is awful. And now City could be in business here. Jeremy Doku drops the shoulder. And now Ryan Cherki, the danger man, looks to feed that onto the left-hand side. Nico O'Reilly clips the ball into the box. Antoine Semenyo is over the crossbar. And just like that, Manchester City open Chelsea up here. Thankfully, Semenyo's header's off target. Yeah, no surprise that it's Ryan Cherki who makes things happen here. As soon as he puts his foot on the ball, you feel that something's going to happen. He finds the right pass into O'Reilly, who just hangs this up. Again, Jarell Hato beaten in the air. Monstrous leap there by Antoine Semenyo. And thankfully, it's over the crossbar. The City bench was waiting to explode into celebration. Time was good, boys. Colwill. Now finds Moises Caicedo in midfield. Chelsea just need to make sure that we settle down here. The next, I think, till the 55th minute, absolutely critical. Brilliant from Levi. What a turn that is from João Pedro. Lovely carry from the Brazilian. Now finds Malo Gusto on the right-hand side. Cole Palmer ignored in this attack temporarily. Again, Levi Colwill keeps playing those line breakers beautifully as he shifts it onto the left-hand side. Here's Enzo Fernandez. He's up against Mateus Nunes. Fernandez fouled there. Needless there by Mateus Nunes. I'm not sure as to why he's committing a foul there, because Enzo Fernandez turned his back and he was away from goal. 3 minutes into the second half, Chelsea, they've already gotten a warning shot fired. Antoine Semenyo's header over the crossbar. Again, Chelsea don't have that counter-attacking threat. It's been João Pedro who's been running by his lonesome. Sanchez goes long. Finds the head of Malo Gusto. Cole Palmer protects the ball away from Bernardo Silva. Fouled by the Manchester City skipper. Few fouls now ticking over. Chelsea do have 2 yellow cards. One to Enzo Fernandez and one to Marc Cucurella. Imperative that Chelsea have 11 players on the pitch, especially this Wembley pitch, which is absolutely massive here. Here's Jarell Hato. Decent first start by Jarell. Levi Colwill finds Hato again. Now Enzo Fernandez, back to Hato. 4 minutes into the second half. That Semenyo chance was enough of a warning sign. Chelsea have to be perfect in the second half as Enzo Fernandez fires the ball nicely towards João Pedro, who once again protects. And Fernandez loses the ball, and now City in business here. Oh, thankfully Moises Caicedo comes across. That's a foul. That's a foul, ref. And he does give the foul. Well, Enzo Fernandez certainly working his socks off to get back into defensive positions. Foul there by Mateus Nunes. That's the second foul in quick succession on the Argentine. Oh, my heart is beating out of my chest here, man. Still have a bit of hope. As soon as City will score the first goal, that hope will completely disappear. Longer this stays 0-0. Chance here for Sanchez goes long again. Cucurella caught woefully out of position. I'm not sure as to why he's trying to play so far up the pitch. 5 minutes into the second half. The game's following a similar pattern as it did in the opening 45 minutes as Mark Gahey finds Nico O'Reilly. And Nico O'Reilly, in the opening 45 minutes, barely got forward, but in the second half, very first attack, he was the one who just clipped the ball towards the far stick. Gusto does well there. Rob Sanchez having to make just the one save of Erling Haaland, which was straight at him. Tight angle for the Norwegian. But a rather anonymous first 45 minutes. Thomas Tuchel watching along. It was this City side against Pep Guardiola, which got us that trophy with the big ears. 2021 in Porto. Memory that will carry on as Levi Colwill gives the ball away. Thankfully, he was fouled by Semenyo. Whew, Chelsea cannot afford to take these risks. Again, Colwill slightly overrunning it, but just waiting for a bit of contact. Semenyo doesn't do too much there. Any sort of contact on Levi would have been a foul. Yep, clear foul there. Chelsea have done well to just take the sting out of the game. Haven't seen too much of Ryan Cherki since that early move that he made as Rob Sanchez forced to go long. City pressing high up the pitch, forcing the turnover throw in for City. Enzo Fernandez wants a bit more composure from his back line. Here's Ryan Cherki now. He's the one that can pick open the lock here. The range of passing, the weight on it is special number 10. Here's Doku now. Palmer giving Gusto a bit of help. Here's Mark Gahey who played that pass to Erling Haaland. Now further up the pitch as Doku tries to go on the outside. He shrugs off the challenge of Cole Palmer with ease. He's up against Gusto. Oh, Cole Palmer thankfully doesn't foul him there. It was right at the edge of the box. Doku wanted a foul. He's not going to get it. Again, Doku, when he just shimmies and shakes, so difficult to stop. He's compact, he's explosive, and he can get away from the challenges with ease. Still 0-0, Aman. Welcome to the stream, my brother. Here's Joao Pedro now. Caicedo continues his run. So has Wesley Fofana. It's been nervy. It's been very nervy. I mean, City dominated possession for first 35 minutes. Chelsea just got back into the game. But the chances from Chelsea have been few and far between. But on the right-hand side, here goes Malo Gusto. Cross comes in. It's a poor cross again by Malo Gusto. He's getting into positions, but his final ball sorely lacking. Well, City with Ryan Cherki are a different proposition in the second half. The only chance in the first half was for Erling Haaland. Again, it was a tight angle. It was straight at Sanchez. But other than that, Chelsea did very well to keep City at arm's length. But that chance for Semenyo was the biggest opportunity in the match. Very first action in the second 45. Almost resulted in a goal. Well, Callum McFarlane did get a draw at the Etihad Stadium in the league. Enzo Fernandez. Oh, that ball's gone out, ref. That's a corner. Yes, it is. And out of absolutely nothing, James Trafford just takes his eye off the ball. Very, very casual that. Poor first touch, and it's a clear corner. And if this goes and ends up into the back of the net, possibly the kind of luck that Chelsea need here. And what we have done is made sure that the scoreline remains 0-0 into the 55th minute. Again, another objective tick from Chelsea's point of view. Waiting to see the likes of Pedro Neto being introduced at some point on that left-hand side as the wing-back. Marc Cucurella not having that attacking thrust about him. Corner for Chelsea. The skipper will deliver. Reece James with the corner. Trafford punches. Caicedo gets his header. It's on target. It's cleared off the line. Rodri gets back into position as Caicedo wins the ball, but unfairly, according to the referee. That was poor from Trafford, really, Gautam. Just took his eye off the ball. City do have both goalkeepers who are not very good with their feet. Caicedo's header nearly resulting in a goal. Can we consider that as a good chance? Yes, we can. Doku. Oh, brilliant from Palmer. Well, Palmer, attacking-wise, he's suffered, but he's made himself a good defensive presence, made sure that he's tracking the run. He's got Onana posters on his wall. Again, Doku doesn't do too much wrong, but does catch Cole on his shin. Need Cole Palmer to just raise his levels. Well, 10 minutes into the second half, still 0-0 the scoreline. It's so nervy, man. It's so nervous considering we have taken City deep here. To lose it here would be a real annoyance. Well, a spot in the Europa League for Chelsea does open up with a win against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. It's not going to happen via the league. Winning this would be massive as Enzo Fernandez has put Cucurella to chase this one. He gets there first. Kusanov, that's a foul, ref. That is a foul. Cucurella gets there first. It's a yellow card for the Uzbeki centre-half. Well. Much better now. Now, Joao Pedro. He has to go at Kusanov as much as possible. I think Cucurella just gets there ahead of the Uzbeki centre-half. It's a yellow card for Abdulkadir Kusanov. Well, Chelsea have 2 yellow cards. First one for Manchester City. Relying on set pieces here. Reece James will look to whip this ball into the box. Chelsea have to make sure that we don't commit too many in the box too, because City on the counter-attack can certainly cause us problems. A mini conference happening here between Levi Colwill, Wesley Fofana and Joao Pedro. Joao's done very well in terms of keeping the ball, and no, I'm not taking the bait. Joao Pedro's been excellent for us. He doesn't have runners in front of him. That's the problem. But Joao will be waiting for that one moment. Come on, get your head on this one here. Reece James to deliver from the far side. Decent whip on it. City clear. Caicedo gets there first. We're not going to get a pen for this. I don't think Caicedo was appealing. But it's Enzo Fernandez in the box. It's another corner for Chelsea. We want a handball. Are we going to get it? I don't think we are. They've made the appeals. Again, he was really close to Enzo. Now, how much of an extension is there with the arm? We'll have to wait and see. Nah, never a handball. Never looked like it first up as well. O'Reilly's arm was tucked close to his body. Not a handball there. Pep just strikes his elbow there. Corner for the Blues. Seems to have gotten a bit of a foothold in the second half here. Enzo Fernandez needs a bit more from the crowd. It's going to take one moment from the Blues, man. It's not going to be sustained. It's going to have to be that one moment. This jersey? It's from the 2010-2011 season. It's the last time that I bought one from the Adidas store. As Reece James delivers, João Pedro was the target. It goes back to Reece. Reece delivers. Decent whip on it. Oh, there's a chance there. Wesley Fofana, having gotten his header on it, will be disappointed that it's not on target, but better from Chelsea. Much better from Chelsea. Very much in this game, boys. Good ball this from Reece James, man. James Trafford caught in no man's land. It's going to be very, very stressful as the Chelsea fans have finally found their voice. This game is there to be won. It's also be there to be lost as well. It's not been all Chelsea since you joined, but Aman, you should have joined a little bit earlier. But yes, Chelsea have gotten a foothold in this match. With Kusanov on a yellow card, João Pedro might have to implement the dark arts, possibly get him sent off. Into the 60th minute. Well, how Chelsea try and negate Manchester City towards the final half an hour will certainly be a very key point. Here's Kusanov. Well, yeah, Cole Palmer's defensive shift has been excellent. But going forward, we need a little bit more from Cole, that's for sure. Because, yes, defensively, he's looked good. And the fact that he has not just ventured forward, but also helped out defensively certainly helps in our favour. He has been a huge part in terms of making sure that Jeremy Doku has not had a free run at us. And it's absolutely critical that Chelsea keep doing this defensive shift. Make sure that City do not have it all their way. Second half is going to come with its own problems. It's not going to be a smooth sailing. We know that once Ryan Shirky and Erling Haaland start cooking, Chelsea could be in a bit of trouble. I'd like to see my Sony Live connection has just crapped out for a bit. Boys, let me know what's happening in the game in the meantime. Waiting for the stream to come back up. But what we have done really well is made sure that the opening 15 minutes into the second half, we knew that Shirky was going to come on. We knew that they are going to put us under pressure. But the fact that we have limited Manchester City to only that one opportunity has been a good sign. Again, I'm waiting for Callum McFarlane to blink and make that change here. There's only one change he has to make in this match. Everybody else remains the same. But bring on Pedro Neto for Marc Cucurella, and Chelsea might be in business in the second half with a bit of wide threat. Colville now looks up. Again, it's a poor pass, forced to go long. Kovacic warming up. If Kova is going to come on, he's going to be coming on for Bernardo Silva. Don't expect him to take the pitch anytime soon, though. City have made their moves, man. This is pretty much their strongest side. Anybody else who comes onto the pitch is going to weaken City. Wesley Fofana, bit of a heavy touch. Well, if Kova is going to come on, I think he's going to be replacing Antoine Semenyo. Bernardo Silva will shift to the right-hand side. And City looking for a bit more drive in the middle of the park with Mateo Kovacic's ball-carrying abilities. That's a poor pass there by Malo Gusto, forcing Reece James to get a clattering challenge. It was captain on captain there. Now Moises Caicedo. He's marshalled the midfield well alongside Reece. Here's Reece on the ball. Reece now plays the channel pass. Malo Gusto making the run. James Trafford gets there first. And if Pep Guardiola is going to bring on Mateo Kovacic, one of the attacking players will be coming off, but Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Might be a different proposition. Cole Palmer bypassed. Lovely pass between the lines by Mark Gahey. Now Ryan Shirky feeds the ball onto the left-hand side to Jeremy Doku now. He's up against Wesley Fofana. Cole Palmer back again, helping out. There's Ryan Shirky who takes the scenic route but finds Mark Cucurella instead of Semenyo. And now Chelsea have a chance to counter here. Cuckoo does well, finding João Pedro. João does well again. Beautiful turn from João Pedro away from Mateus Nunes. What a carry this is from João. I think Nunes might get there ahead. He does. Good recovery there from the Portuguese. Well, João Pedro can certainly give a torrid time to any defender on the pitch. The camera is panning on to Rodri. Is he the man going to be subbed off? Mateo Kovacic coming on. Could be like for like. Haven't seen too much of Rodri here today. I mean, yes, in terms of keeping possession and keeping it short and sharp, he's done well. But in terms of really making the impact, the line breakers, the clip passes, shots from outside the box, which we associate with Rodri, has been missing here today. Levi Colwill punches a lovely pass to Enzo Fernandez. And on the left-hand side, Jarell Hato now in the attack. Cucurella might be offside here. I think he is. Hato did continue his run and did play the 1-2. Chelsea having a few moments, but again, that left-hand side could certainly do with some pace. I think it's going to be Rodri coming off. Into the 65th minute. Rodri will be coming off for Mateo Kovacic. It's a big, big call by Pep Guardiola. Rodri not having the impact. Coming off the bench as Mateo Kovacic. Well, he did pick up that second yellow card in the 2020 final against Arsenal. That was one of the most scandalous decisions that Anthony Taylor has ever made in his life. And boy, oh boy, has he made some of them. Chelsea win the ball again. City just struggling a little bit. One good chance, Manny. Exactly one chance. Again, Colville's passing has been excellent, man. Here's Caicedo under a bit of pressure. Finds Cole Palmer. Now on the right-hand side is Malo Gusto. Put the ball in. He does. Is that a foul there on João Pedro? Waved away. And considering that was Abdulkadir Kusanov. Whew. Again, it's Chelsea's right-hand side causing City problems. Kusanov. He's gotten an arm. He's almost grabbed João Pedro there. Waved away by the ref. Again, City struggling to keep hold of the ball. This is a good sign from Chelsea's point of view. Doku does well. Finds Ryan Shirky. Reece James struggling there, but now the attack continues. Here's Shirky now. Operating in the half spaces with Semenyo holding the width on that right-hand side. Cucurella is on a yellow card. Has to be careful here. It's Ryan Shirky looking to shoot. Shifts it onto the left-hand side. Doku brings that under control. They didn't even check, I swear. As Gahey puts the ball into the box. Well defended. Brilliantly done there by Jarell Hato. Kovacic recycles. Finds Doku on the left-hand side now. Doku goes on the outside. Ball into the box. Well defended by Wesley Fofana. It's a corner for City. Well, Alonso's not just a smart pickup. He's the best possible option on the market for Chelsea, really. The back three does work for Chelsea. We do have a bit of history with it. Nah, that's not a pen. I thought that Kusanov might have just dragged João Pedro. And considering he was nowhere near the ball, might have just grabbed him by the arm there. Yeah, you can see there wasn't like a vehement shout for a pen. But corner for Manchester City. Chelsea have done well. City with the third corner. This game is very much on the knife's edge. You're so close to being good, yet so far. It is so frustrating, man. We keep restarting the project every single season. We've got some technical players, but our wide players, we have to recruit better. Again, we've got the meat and potatoes. The spine of the team is pretty much sorted. Levi Colwill, Caicedo, Palmer, João Pedro. You add someone like Enzo Fernandez also to it. Reece James. There is a real base to cook up something special for Chelsea, but until the recruitment gets better, we'll still be in that start-stop phase as City take the corner shot. Shirky puts the ball into the box. It's slightly overhit. Very much overhit, but Gehi does well to put that back into the area. Comfortable for Rob Sanchez. Sanchez had nothing to do in the second half as he looks to just roll that quickly to to João Pedro. Here's Kovacic on the pitch for Rodri. Certainly an eyebrow-raising substitution, but Pep Guardiola wanting a bit more drive in the middle of the park. Here's Mark Gehi. Again, shifts it onto the right-hand side. City looking to be patient. Here's Semenyo up against Kukurea. Good challenge by Kuku. Has the last touch come off Semenyo? It hasn't. It's a corner for Manchester City. Is Bino Gittins a scrub? Well, from what I've seen so far, seen very little of him. He hasn't really dazzled, but again, I think the fact that he's missed so much time just buys him a little bit of time for next season. But what we have seen of Gittins so far has not moved me at all. But he's got all the raw materials needed, but his mentality is the one that we really question as Chelsea fans. Corner for Manchester City. Fourth corner now. Against City with set pieces do worry me. It's Enzo Fernandez marking Erling Haaland. That is a physical mismatch if I've ever seen one. Bernardo Silva delivers the ball into the box. It should be comfortably cleared. Again, Chelsea defensively with set pieces throughout the season has given us a lot of headaches, a lot of stress, but we do manage to clear the lines. And City don't have imposing players in the opposition box. Haaland was closely marshalled. Again, we're heading into the business end of the final. Still 0-0 the scoreline as Ryan Shirky looks to scoop the ball forward. Comfortable for Sanchez. 70th minute. This game has got real jeopardy attached now to it. It's not a foul on Cole. That is a foul by Cole, certainly. Well, Cole Palmer needs to walk away here, make sure that he doesn't pick up a needless yellow card. Still waiting to see Cole Palmer have that attacking, that one moment really. He's worked tremendously hard. I mean, you've got to give it to Cole. He's not just phoned it in, waiting to play, just attack. He's put in a good shift as Kovacic. Oh, ref, is that a foul? Kovacic takes a real risk there. Yeah, that's a foul by... It was the first foul by João Pedro, but that by Caicedo wasn't a foul. City players look like they wanted more than Chelsea. Chelsea players look like they wanted more. I mean, City, the FA Cup is good for them, but it doesn't really have any sort of jeopardy attached. A domestic treble would be, again, historic from their point of view, but again, it's Chelsea who have that opportunity to get into the Europa League. They played this nicely though. Ryan Shirky in business here. Good challenge. It's fallen to Erling Haaland, who turns away from Wesley Fofana. City in business now. It's Bernardo Silva now venturing forward. Erling Haaland on the right-hand side clips the ball in. It's a chance. It's a magnificent backheel finish by Antoine Semenyo to give Manchester City the lead. It is a special goal to open the Chelsea defence. And after all that hard work, City have the lead. At Wembley Stadium, it is a crushing blow. It is brilliant from Semenyo, though. There's not too much we could have done about it, which is the most frustrating part. Again, we've allowed Manchester City to continue the attack. Wesley Fofana caught woefully out of position, and it's a real hammer blow. Can we just give the ball in midfield here? Caicedo's challenge goes straight into Haaland. And from there, City were in business. Haaland continues his run. And instead of being the goal scorer, he turns into provider. That finish is outrageous, man. What do you even say about that? It's a special, special goal. Hey, what's up, TJ? It seems that you have joined the stream at the most opportune moment from your point of view. It is a special goal, man. What do you even say to that? I mean, Levi Colville has gotten him covered. And after Semenyo missed that header, early into the second half. It took a moment of magic. It's a crushing blow, and now Callum McFarlane will have to make the change. Pedro Neto has to come on for Mark Cucurella on the left-hand side. We don't have to really make changes in terms of the shape, but now with about 17 and a half minutes plus stoppage time remaining at the Wembley Stadium, is it going to be further heartbreak for Chelsea? It does look like it. We were dreading the opening goal, and it has come in a special manner. Nasty finish, man, Gautam. What do you even say about that? It was well marshalled, and it looks like it's going to be further pain, further heartbreak at Wembley. 2018, under Conte, was the last time that we had any sort of success. Here, there's a chance for Enzo Fernandez! Oh, the equaliser within inches. We saw a special finish from Semenyo. It nearly took something special from Enzo Fernandez. Decent header here. Oh, man, that was a chance. That was a chance, boys. Enzo Fernandez outside of his right boot. You see that Mark Guehi had his arms around him, still managing to get a shot there. And finally, the change that we've been crying out for does happen. Pedro Neto on the left-hand side for Mark Cucurella. Has he left it a little too late? It is a reactionary sub rather than being proactive. Where it took a stoppage time equaliser at the Etihad Stadium to share the spoils when Callum McFarlane took charge, and it's going to take a late show again here as Nico O'Reilly now carrying the ball forward. Nico O'Reilly has had a very understated game. Here's Jeremy Doku now, drops the shoulder away from Cole Palmer. City looking to add the insurance goal now. Here's Doku again, finding Mateo Kovacic. City's changes certainly have weighed. Same guy that sent a shot for a throw-in, man. Come on. Exactly. And Semenyo is having a very off day, really, and he puts in a special goal. Hato does well. Now Pedro Neto. Do Chelsea have enough in them? Enough in the tank as Sanchez's slice clearance. Chelsea looking at 6s and 7s here at the back. That first goal certainly was a crushing blow, man. Chelsea wanted to take it as deep as possible, but now we have to go for it. 15 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Here's Jeremy Doku now. Shirky looking to play the 1-2. Shirky's not had the best of cameo since coming on. João Pedro's first touch is outrageous. Beautifully done. Referee waves play on Cole. Well, it's Pedro Neto looking to push and run. Mark Guehi on the slide. Throw in for Chelsea. Well, finally a bit of pace for Chelsea. Pedro Neto, for all his faults, does have pace, and we need it in spades. Just one moment of quality is what Chelsea are waiting for. City bided their time, and it took a special Semenyo goal to break open the deadlock. Chelsea lose the ball again. This is going to be 2-0, man. Here's Shirky now. We've just lost our balance. We've just lost our heads. It is going to start getting desperate, but Chelsea do have time. Chelsea caught napping here. It's Nico O'Reilly with the cutback. What a poor pass. Again, what happened there on the right-hand side? Wesley Fofana completely stopped. It is shocking. It should have been 2-0. Hato continues his run. Kusanov is on a yellow card. Has to be careful himself. Oh, that could be a pen ref. Come on. He's on a second. I mean, Hato is not appealing. Come on. We've not gotten the decisions, but Chelsea still on the attack here. Here's Enzo Fernandez, slightly off balance. Now Neto. It's getting desperate here. What a terrible cross. Oh my goodness me. We need a player with experience scoring against City in the final. Absolutely not. Keep him on the bench. Garnacho will have to remain there. As Caicedo floats the ball into the box, it's cleared away. Again, we need to have a look at that, man. There was some tug on Jarell Hato, that's for sure. It did look like a pen to me as well, Aman. It looks like nothing's been changed. Now Cole Palmer by his lonesome trying to make things happen. Gusto with the clip ball into the box. His delivery in the final third has been so frustrating. Now Pedro Neto. Chelsea stepping it up here. Still a lot of time. All we need is a goal. Take this into extra time if needed. That was a pen, man. They didn't even have a look. They didn't even show us a freaking replay. And Kusanov was on a yellow card. That could have been a second yellow as well. It's game-changing. Here's Colville. Clip pass there. It's cleared away by Kusanov. The ref has an agenda. It's not given here. Let's have a look here. Jarell Hato gets there. I mean, he does not get the ball. Jarell Hato gets his foot forward. That's a pen, guys. What am I missing here? I don't want to sound biased and say that's a pen. That is a pen. Here's Cole Palmer between the lines now. Onto the right-hand side. Here's Malo Gusto. Cross comes in. Good header by Kusanov. He gets that away. Comes straight back to Gusto though. Here's Cole Palmer in the half space. Don't take a shot here. He plays it onto the left-hand side. Here's Enzo Fernandez. Pedro Neto. Saved by Trafford. Chelsea piling it on here. That's a pen, boys. Come on. Anyways, that moment is gone for Chelsea. It's going to be a throw-in for us. It's been all Chelsea since Manchester City have scored. How is that not a pen? Anyways, got to move on swiftly here. Stonewall pen, doesn't touch the ball. And that's a second yellow as well for him. It's game-changing. Anyways, here's Enzo Fernandez with the ball forward. Joao Pedro slightly off balance. Clever ball there by Enzo. Again, Joao Pedro works his socks off here. Almost getting that under control. He's going to give a foul there on Moy. Again, if the referee hasn't seen it, VAR has to certainly see it. FA was never going to let McFarlane walk away with the winner's medal, and he's got his UEFA badges yet. Spot on. Absolutely right. I mean, that first incident in the first half was a little bit more lenient towards Kusanov because it was kind of shoulder on shoulder, but that one, he got nowhere near the ball. Clear contact on Hato. And there's no point bitching and moaning about that. Still got an FA Cup final to try and drag ourselves back into. 10 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Prince William looks like he'd rather be anywhere else but here. I'm sure he's got his tickets booked for the Europa League final. Oh, Jarell Hato gives the ball away under no pressure. City get the second. It's game over. As Mateo Kovacic now runs through the centre. Good defending by Wesley Fofana. Here's Mark Gahey now. That Enzo Fernandez chance, man. Outside of his boot. Tough challenge. Yeah, Hato is good. Hato is good. Prince William is a fan of Aston Villa. He's quick. He's good on the ball. I mean, 19 years of age. Captain of Ajax. I know that Ajax are running a bit of a dodgy ring in terms of getting rid of their players for a big moment. Oh, Joao Pedro. That could be his last involvement. I mean, he has worked his socks off for us, man. But I think he might have run his race here. Fucking hell, we're going to bring on Liam Delap and we're chasing this game now. Might have done himself some damage. What a loser. I mean, yeah. But, I mean, Villa, top 4 and possibly a Europa League trophy on top of this. Unai Emery is turning water into wine there at the Midlands. Pep Guardiola, nervous. I don't think it could be a choice, but I'm not sure. I mean, look at Joao Pedro. He knows that if he comes off and Liam Delap comes on, Chelsea are finito. I mean, we're looking at the Semenyo goal. Oh, what do you even say to that, man? It's such a special goal. It was going to take a moment of magic. We thought it was possibly going to be Ryan Shirky, but it turns out it was Antoine Semenyo. I mean, City being ambitious in January has paid dividends. Mark Gahey and Antoine Semenyo coming on. Liam Delap is coming on, and it's for Reece James. Thankfully, Joao Pedro's still on the pitch. Emery manager of the season or Andoni Iraola? Both good shouts. Possibly going to give it to Mikel Arteta though. But yep, Iraola, sensational. Unai Emery is pound for pound one of the best coaches in the world. I mean, look at the dross they gave him this summer, and he's managed to elbow everybody out the way and achieve all their objectives by the looks of it. I mean, you expect them to beat Freiburg. They still have a part to play in the title race. Cueing the Brock Lesnar theme for Liam Delap. He's got more yellow cards than goals this season. Not that hard considering he's got 1 Premier League goal and 1 in the Champions League. Jeremy Doku plays a brilliant pass here. Nico O'Reilly's got acres of space. It's Nico O'Reilly. Great play. He should go for goal again. He's looked for Haaland instead. That should have been game over. It's still hanging in the balance though. Here's Ryan Shirky. Please don't foul him, Pedro Neto. He hasn't, thankfully. And now Chelsea can carry forward here. Enzo Fernandez outside of the boot. Pass to Pedro's poor. Joao Pedro tries to bring that down. Enzo Fernandez. Well, he's signaling that Joao Pedro needs to come off here. Joao Pedro is possibly playing on one leg here. Here's Shirky. Clever. Ball across the face of goal. Saved by Sanchez. Chelsea on the ropes here. City looking to add the insurance goal. A domestic double now within reach for Pep Guardiola's men. Now to Bernardo Silva. 6 minutes plus stoppage time remain. It just feels like that impending doom now. Here's Nico O'Reilly. Cross comes in. Offside flag raised. I mean, Emery is not always the best of the rest. I mean, I'm going to say it again. You see the dross that he's been handed. This season, he got Victor Lindelof and Jadon Sancho in terms of summer signings, man. Oh, there's a chance here for Shirky. Good save by Rob Sanchez. Chelsea inexplicably give the ball away again. Thankfully, it's cleared away. Chelsea still in with a shout here. That was straight at Rob Sanchez. Foul on Malo Gusto. Ryan Shirky on his left foot. Did catch it sweet, but it was straight at Sanchez. Again, Chelsea needlessly giving the ball away in that situation. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Alejandro Garnacho coming on for Joao Pedro. Thank you, Joao, for that brilliant effort. 85 minutes, he ran his socks off. He had to try everything in his power without runners to try and make things happen. And now we've got Garnacho, Pedro Neto, and Liam Delap as our front three. Enzo Fernandez plays the ball forward for Liam Delap, who immediately concedes the foul. Well, if you look at the balance of play, City will say that they've deserved it in terms of the attempts and possession, territory and everything like that. But it took a special goal from them, man. Garnacho to score. You guys are taking the fucking piss, yeah? Garnacho, Neto and Delap. That's why I said, man, we almost feel like we're so close to reaching levels, and we spent 120 million on those three. And if we had just invested in 2 good players instead, our fortunes could have changed. Fofana robbed off the ball here. Now Semenyo clips it forward. Nearly found Haaland. Well, Haaland got the assist for what stands to be the winner so far. On the right-hand side, as it stands, Chelsea will play no European football next season, which is kind of good, really. Xabi Alonso, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like he will be announced as something of a softener to forget the season, forget the FA Cup final loss, and get him in the squad for next season. We've got an inflated squad, so just playing domestic games and no Europe will mean that a lot of the boys will have to bide their time on the bench. Good carry here in the central areas, but Ryan Shirky now finds Nico O'Reilly, who's been reluctant to shoot. What will I do if Delap scores? I will celebrate. Of course I will. I'll celebrate. I might even lose my voice because it looks like as it stands, Chelsea are going to have yet another FA Cup final loss to their names here. As Semenyo on the right-hand side. I mean, we lost to Arsenal, Leicester, Liverpool. The last 3 FA Cup finals, if I remember correctly. The Arsenal one should have never happened. Either should have the Leicester one. I know that Leicester got lucky. Yes, Tielemans scored and put it into the top corner, but Jose Perez had the biggest handball you will ever see in the lead up to the goal. There are some things that you just do not forget. Of course, the 2020 final, Mateo Kovacic getting a red card of Anthony Taylor. A second yellow card, which was never the case. Well, yeah, we lose the final every 2 years. Last time it was a semi-final defeat to Manchester City when Maurizio Pochettino was the gaffer. That was a Bernardo Silva goal, if my memory serves me correct. Wembley continues to be a cursed ground for the Blues. Of course, the very first final in the new Wembley Stadium was that FA Cup final against Manchester United. Didier Drogba scoring in extra time. Had a few moments of joy. Carlo Ancelotti getting the FA Cup. Antonio Conte as well. Now Doku up against Palmer. Ball into the box. Doku not having the quality there. Under 90 seconds plus stoppage time remaining. They all have been robbed today. City have been average. City have been well nullified here. Again, look, when I look at the Chelsea side, right, there's a lot to be positive. I'm not talking about this season, right? I'm going to completely write it off. Yes, I'm going to also write off the fact that we were 3 points behind Arsenal end of November. But there is a base. There's absolutely a base. Hey, Manny, please call Gopu. Gopu's calling me in the middle of the stream. Not sure as to what's the issue there, but please call him and tell him that I'll call him back. Oh, that's a very good pass. Malo Gusto. He's done well against Jeremy Doku, man, but his final third delivery has been lacking. Heading into stoppage time. Liam Delap trying to make himself a nuisance. Well, that's the least he can do. Chelsea win the ball high up the pitch, but not for too long. Haaland brings it down. Haaland has had only the one chance in the match. I think the offside flag has been play advantage, ref. Come on. We have the ball ready to go. Less said, the better about the referees here. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time here. Chelsea are going to endure yet another heartbreaking evening at Wembley Stadium by the looks of it. It took a special Semenyo goal as Malo Gusto delivers. Liam Delap with the header. I got excited. Free header. Put that on target at least, Liam. Decent ball. Malo Gusto on his left foot. Get that on target, man. Well, that Abdulkadir Kusunov foul on Jarell Hato. I am convinced that was a pen. His first instance in the first half, I will give him the pass. That was not a penalty. Taking bias aside. But that, for Jarell Hato, was certainly a pen, man. And a second yellow card. Shit from Delap. And water is wet, the sky is blue. And what else are you going to tell me that is a matter of fact, Mr. Minas? He's the worst 30 million we have spent at the club since... Anyways, that's for a later amount. I'm going to put him right on top. Free kick for City as they'll just run down the clock. Yellow card for Caicedo. For what? I'm not sure. Third yellow card for the Blues. Might be fourth. Reece might have picked up a yellow card if I'm not mistaken. But Chelsea are going to end up this season trophyless. And with no European football for next season, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. Because if we somehow scammed Europe, the directors and everybody on top would feel that, yep, it's a successful season. Even though we've had a shit league season, we've managed to scam silverware right towards the end. No more papers to paper over the cracks. We need proper surgery in real areas, especially at the wing areas. We've got Giovanni Kenda coming on next season, but he's again a young player, a project player, possibly playing on that left-hand side. Estevao's got a grade 3, grade 4 hamstring injury. It's almost unheard of, a grade 4 hamstring tear, which is something clearly off the bone. So might not see him for the good part of 2026, maybe even into 2027. Well, halfway point of stoppage time. Chelsea have not peppered the goal, but a few chances, but not enough. And this hasn't been a vintage Pep Guardiola City performance. Chelsea have very much matched them. In fact, for large periods of the game, it looked like it could be anybody's game. Just showcased that Chelsea, even under turmoil, can compete against the top sides. Under 2 minutes remaining. This is pretty much done, guys. We tried, but we ultimately failed, and it is a failure of a season from Chelsea's point of view. No papering over the cracks this time, lads. You have to face some cold, harsh realities. As Levi Colwill venturing forward for the first time. Throw in for Chelsea. 90 seconds of stoppage time remain here. Last chance saloon surely now. Jarell Hato pumps the ball into the box. Wesley Fofana wins the flick on header here. It's Pedro Neto with the strike. It's well blocked by O'Reilly. And now City on the counter-attack could kill us here. Doku with a heavy touch. Gusto does very well. Come on, Chelsea. Final attack. Final minute of stoppage time. Here's Malo Gusto. Heavy touch from Gusto. That is a tired touch. And now City 3v2 can kill us here. Haaland finds the goals. Oh, it's Doku rather on the left-hand side. It's Jeremy Doku. Ryan Shirky dances forward. Good play there by Cole Palmer. It's Shirky again. It's Haaland in acres of space. He runs straight to the corner. I'm not sure it's just sleeping, Manny. It's just tired legs. He's covered a lot of ground on that right-hand side. It's a foul there on Nunez. It's going to be free kick to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola can celebrate a domestic double. He's still 2 points behind Arsenal. This could be a domestic treble if Arsenal somehow drop points in their final 2 games. Are you all beating Spurs? I don't think we are. I mean, considering how Chelsea would have put in all that effort and Spurs have had pretty much the weekend. Are they playing tomorrow? I think they are. I'm not really sure as to the schedule for... No, Spurs are not playing tomorrow. What am I saying? Yep. I think Spurs might end up beating theirs. The referee blows the full-time whistle. It's Pep Guardiola's men who complete the domestic double. Antoine Semenyo in the second half with a world-class finish. It needed a moment of magic, and Pep Guardiola and Manchester City getting rewarded for showing ambition in January. Semenyo with a terrific backheel goal, special goal, and it needed something special to break open the Chelsea defence. Chelsea competed well. We should have gotten a penalty and Kusanov sent off. I'm not going to grind too much about that, but it is a crushing blow for Chelsea, who will end the season empty-handed and no European football for next season. Well, Chelsea are going to announce a manager very soon to try and almost distract us from what has been a shit show of a season. But absolutely, Aman, we have to send Spurs down. I mean, can you believe the opportunity that we have? Spurs have won once in the Premier League era at Stamford Bridge. That was when Antonio Conte was the manager and pretty much checked out. But even at our worst, we always find a way to beat Spurs at the Bridge. So Chelsea have to turn up and make sure that we send Spurs down, or at least try our best to make that happen. Well, City celebrate 8 FA Cups for the citizens. They tie Chelsea with 8 FA Cups each, as Antoine Semenyo in the second half scored a very special goal. Manny, I wouldn't call this shocking, but yeah, we didn't expect anything else. I thought City might end up putting 2 or 3 past us. It took a special goal to score. Yes, they had a lot of opportunities, a lot of entries into the box. Their decision in the final third was lacking, but Chelsea, in terms of competing, did well, and that's only what we can expect, considering how poor Chelsea have been since the turn of the year. Antoine Semenyo, there's your highlight moment. A goal in the FA Cup final. He'll be remembered for years to come cementing his legacy as another key player for Manchester City. Shocking season, Manny, but it's all self-sabotage. We shot ourselves in the foot multiple times, and that's the result we get. What a goal, man, that was from Semenyo. He's got no time to think. A lovely flick finish and a very muted celebration as well. World-class goal. Erling Haaland, who had very little impact in this game. Turns out he's get the match-winning assist. Thanks a lot, Gautam. Class stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be covering the Manchester United Nottingham Forest game because why not? So we'll watch how your boys do, as it's going to be a critical end. I'm going to be doing the Sunday stream, which is Manchester United Forest. I'll be doing the Monday night game, which is Arsenal Burnley. And of course, Tuesday night, Chelsea versus Spurs. And of course, Manchester City taking on Bournemouth at the same time. So implications for the title race going down right to the wire. Thank you so much, Gautam. Thank you, Manny. Enjoy your night out. And yeah, man, Aman, what a signing from City. They bought Mark Gahey and Antoine Semenyo, and look at their form since then. It's the only club that showed ambition in January, and they've gotten the reward for it. Chelsea stood still, Manchester United stood still, Liverpool, Arsenal, everybody involved made no sort of ambitious moves in January. Pep Guardiola says, I need another 80 million spent here, boys, if you want me to compete. They're possibly looking at building a team for next season, but a domestic double in a transitional year for Pep Guardiola is awesome. And if Arsenal drop points and City are perfect, it might end up being a domestic treble for Pep Guardiola's men. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. I want to say it's been a good stream. Fuck it, it's been a great stream. I had a lot of fun interacting with you guys, having that back and forth. I once again thank you for your continued support. It's been a lot of fun, but unfortunately, Chelsea end up empty-handed. Full time at Wembley Stadium, Chelsea 0, Manchester City 1. If indeed, Aman, if indeed, if Arsenal, well, they got such a huge helping hand from Everton, didn't they? I mean, after Manchester City beat Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium, it was in City's hands. And for them to throw it away at Everton certainly was a curious game. They could have very easily lost that game. I mean, they were 3-1 down Manchester City. Haaland scored immediately after, and then Jeremy Doku found the top corner in stoppage time. Burnley and Crystal Palace away. I mean, this is perfect for Arsenal. City's 2 games are Bournemouth away and Villa at home. Those are nightmare fixtures, really. But with Aston Villa completing their objectives, they might just end up with the players on the beach. But City will go gung-ho in the last 2 games, that's for sure. And we will be live for all their games, that's for sure. Signing off, boys. Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. As you always do, tune in. Bring the support. I absolutely love it, guys. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.